Where the fuck am I? Where the fuck am I? It's Deltarune fuck. It's Deltarune time. It's fucking Deltarune. Holy fucking shit. Da na 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 da. Anyway, Deltarune. It's Deltarune time. Am I super loud? I might be. Hold on. Anyway, what's up, gamers? What's up? It's Deltaruning. We're Deltaruning it. But uh, as you may realize, May, what the fuck you mean Deltaruning it? It's not even the day of Deltarune, and you literally said that you weren't even gonna fucking play it on the day of. And you were so right. But what's really cool is that I fucking love bingo. And I did super well last time on the bingo. I had my two bingo boards and I did fucking awesome. And while I might not be able to be here for the countdown or for when it comes out, because that's gonna be either what is it? It's either gonna be hmm it's either gonna be the 26th or the 27th. Hmm, very strange numbers. Um, but yeah, those are I mean probably the Friday or Saturday upcoming. Ooh. Um, does that mean there's gonna be no streams? We'll have to wait and see. Uh, I I have thought about doing streams, you know, outside of just this one. Um, catching up, doing other stuff. In fact, I plan to, you know, straight up replay the whole game because I don't even like the name on my save file. Uh, and my save files kind of got fucked up when I played Chapter 4 because I, for some reason, clicked on a whole new save, uh, or like a different save when I went on Chapter 4. I don't know why. Uh, but yeah. So on some crazy shit, but I low-key don't have everything. I low-key don't have everything. I low-key don't have everything. I low-key haven't played since I played it originally, and I meant to, right? But I want to obviously like record the times I play it. I love Deltarune that much. Um, and I'm setting stuff up for that. As you can tell, the background of this right now is my old, very blurry, um, you know, stream background. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? What the fuck? For the knows who know. For the know who know who knows. For the knows. For the knows. For the knows who knows. Um. Anyway, so yeah, it's the old background. Um. And just a cork board. Mike, get my cork board. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yes, boring. What are you, some kind of Deltarune fan? I don't, what the fuck? No. What do you, what do you think I am? What do you? No, no. Why would I do that? The ghostly apparition of old stream background, as you know it. Also, hello local. I'm pretty sure you're local. You're a friend inside, if that's all I know. But this is the iconic bingo. It's time for bingo. I have some ideas about bingo. I have some ideas of what I want to do for bingo, but I'm also hoping that some of you will fill in the blanks because I also don't remember everything I wanted to do for bingo. Say that again. Say what again? What bingo? You want me to hear about bingo? Um, anyway, as you can see, awesome, cool Delta running time. We got 12 hours until Deltarune, and just specifically a day until Deltarune. Um, what didn't it say it was gonna be at like 11 a.m.? Dude, if it's not at 11 a.m., like imagine it's at 11 p.m. and I read the fucking time wrong and I could literally do a countdown if I wanted to. Anyway, um, hold on. So I have a couple ideas and a couple theories. Couple theories. Mike, get my board. Okay, we got the board. Um, so I have a couple things I can pull up. um, of some theories I have had and some things I might want to do and say. Let me find that. Let me find my thing. Um, Currently 4 a.m., but it's wait. Currently 4 a.m., but it's the 24th over here, so I'm technically closer to Deltarune. Ah, gosh darn it. Local, why? Local, why are you up at 4 a.m.? Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on, buddy. You should be asleep. What the fuck? Says the hypocrite. Anyway, um, I have my theories. I have my ghouls and my ghosts. First off, did anybody hear of this shit about Asgore being stuck in the sun? And that's his like him stuck in asylum. He's stuck in the sunset. He's stuck in the sun. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was. But a lot of people, characterized chapter 5 as like, you know, I don't know, you get attacked by one of the soul flowers protecting him, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, guys. That's my kid. Back up." Whoa, guys. That guys, they're a friend. Or something like that, you know? And he's like, Chris, I'm just really enjoying being a king and shit. I used to just be the king of shit. It was horrible. I had to clean the mayor's toilet. It sucked ass. But actually, for the ones in the know, I'm in the bunker group chat. Don't you know? They had me as a guest on the bunker group chat. I don't actually know how. We technically don't know how close Asgore is to bunker group chat. We know he has a dark shard, not a black shard. He has a dark shard, I think. He doesn't have a shadow crystal. The katana is in the room he's in, and he has a corkboard the same as Carol's because we see it on the side of his building. And also, you may say, I remember when I was a goddamn let me put my foot in the ground right here. I was a Flower King truther. You can pull up the streams from last year. I was a Flower King truther back then. Man, I'm pretty sure I had Flower King Truth on the fucking bingo board when that shit was happening last year. Um, and I think I cited that there's two double doors on the side of the building. If you like come there with Susie, I think she mentioned some. There's two double doors on the side of the building. Um, that you can't see, but could definitely be open to a dark world. Since there is, I'm pretty sure only one door on Flower King. Actually, let me check that. Let me check that real quick. Flower King. Dude, I just looked up Flower King with nothing else. I mean, obviously Deltarune's gonna show up, but I do that sometimes. Okay, yeah, Flower King only has one. Yeah, Flower King only has one door. But it does have two doors next to the truck, next to that evil ass truck. Um, I actually do not have uh the truck on bingo or anything like that so far. I kind of feel like I want to have a mix of like goofy shit and serious shit, but also just like stuff that would actually happen. Because I know a lot of people do these bingos just as a joke, like a lot of the bingos people do are like several things counteract other things. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or anything, but god damn it, I'm actually trying to get bingo here. I'm actually trying to get bingo. Um, Now that doesn't mean I'm gonna just like, I'm gonna be like, Susie's there, Ralsie's there, free space. The soul is there, Chris is there. That's right, I got bingo, guys. Yeah, no, that kind of takes all the fun out of it. But I think the conspiracy board in the holiday manner is Carol's enabling his conspiracy bullshit, which definitely has some correlation with Des' appearance. Um, I do agree, but also, no, the fuck I don't. Because I don't think Carol is just enabling his conspiracy bullshit. Um, I think she has her own conspiracy bullshit because it'd be really confusing for her to also have an entire board of conspiracy stuff about her daughter and have Asgore be the one that's like more more concerned about that. I feel like Carol's motive, from what we know, is just getting her daughter back, and also like seemingly from whatever means she can. And for all the Rudy Knight truthers out there, seemingly that's also Rudy's motive, just like slightly less, you know, aggressive, unless you consider Rudy Knight. Then I mean, I would consider him kind of aggressive. I want Friend to show up in this chapter if you couldn't tell. Oh no, definitely, dude. I want Friend to show up as well. In fact, I think it's like the most Friend chapter ever. Like I feel like I don't have to even put that on the bingo board. I mean, come on, a fucking field of gold and yellow. What is it? Of fucking gold and yellow, of pink and gold, not pink and yellow. Yeah, well, pink and yellow, but it's pink and gold specifically. And the whole like golden flower thing, and flowy. So, so yeah, I think Friend, if Friend is gonna show up in a physical form, I feel like this is the best chapter to do so in that. I mean, it's literally, I swear to God, the chapter is gonna be called, yo, Friend is in this chapter, bro. Yo, Friend inside me, bro. Flower King, more like Flower Friend. Best Friend, Best Nightmare, Best Nightmare, Eram. Nightmare, Eram. Best, more like Des Nightmare, Eram. Hold on, gang. Chat, am I cooking or am I washed? I might be a little washed. Um, yeah, definitely Des's appearance seems to have ruined Asgore as well. Yeah, no, but it seems more like he's trying to prove, whatever happened, it wasn't his fault and it was all blamed on him. I've seen, I've seen fan art of like, Friend, crawling back into the forest, and Asgore is like there in his truck, and they're just like, they're never gonna fucking believe you. They're never gonna believe you. They're never gonna believe. Um. Uh. 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 Gold and yellow. Fuck. It's piss chapter. God damn it. We don't need piss chapter. We don't need piss chapter. I don't think we need piss chapter. They already put the bucket in chapter one. I'm scared of more. Uh, anyway, I've left you guys on a blank. Let me actually get some stuff in here. Um, Mike, my board. Thank you, Mike. Some kind of Undertale yellow. Thank you, Mike. So we got a fucking conspiracy board up here. Okay, let's get some stuff a rolling. So, uh, hold on. Let me lower this. That's fine. Okay. So I actually want to talk about something. I want to talk about very recently, as in literally today, we have gotten the final answers and the answer to the Deltarune ARG that was ongoing for anyone not in the know. Um, and man, am I excited about that. So the answer of I think it was Where She Smiled is the lake. You answered the lake. Ding, 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 ding. That's it. You only need to see her once, and you'll move on with this new image of Chris in shadow in some seemingly a very exaggerated and dark sunset, uh, clouded in the trees. Now, this is a new part of Hometown that we have not seen, but considering that the lake is the big part of this whole message, and we do see the lake, but we don't get to interact too much outside of Onion Sand, the Goners, um, and those like end of chapter segments where Susie even mentions that she thinks she can hear the song from the sea. And I have heard people immediately theorizing that Des drowned in the lake. And while I don't know how to feel about it yet, I can agree with that. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. So the holidays, right? The holidays represent ice magic, right? We're gonna put a little ice, some horn, with some antlers, right? They represent ice magic, right? And the dreamers represent fire magic, obviously. By the way, how do we feel about what's it called? How do we feel about Ralsei just straight up knowing fire magic? He can just do that shit, and he does it only once, but he's done that shit. He did that shit. Um, I think that's pretty crazy, and I hope he does it again. But oh, oh shit, no one saw that. Um, but they represent ice and fire magic. No shit, May. What are you talking about? Well, if any of you fuckers have ever played Minecraft, or I don't know, looked outside your damn window, I know it's really hard. You put some fire next to some ice, it's gonna melt. And what does it turn into? It obviously turns into water. And well, I don't know how many of you are delta brained, but water is very, very, very important to Deltarune. And the fact that the answer to this whole thing is the lake is well, that's scary, you know? That is scary. But that might also uh, bring into account the whole idea of a water dark world, and while people immediately went, oh, Dress must have drowned, Des must have drowned. Um, dude, wait, um, water, dude, ink theory, Andrew Cunningham, you know me, bro, Andrew Cunningham, love that guy. I think he just put out, what was it? Was it Ink Theory Part 1? And then he did like a 5-hour stream for Ink Theory Part 2. Well, not Part 2, but he was like getting questions for it. Um, I didn't watch all 5 hours, but I watched some of it. I loved his theory. It was great. But yeah, if the whole idea is like, I don't remember everything about Ink Theory, but if the whole thing is that like Gerson is talking about, ink acting almost like a wave, almost like this giant substance, like water, washing away this stuff, right? And how ink and the darkness is obviously shown by black, by darkness, right? And is the dark worlds. And while we don't necessarily know of the depths too much, or if they even necessarily exist, some place like the depths kind of has to. Uh, you know, it would probably be there. And if we take in the whole 6-7 theory and toilet, aka sewer theory, um, along with roots theory, I feel like toilet theory and roots theory kind of mix together. Because roots theory is kind of like bringing to light that the boards here. Wait, let me get them out. Let me get them out. Uh, sword root boards Deltarune chapter 3. Let me get these out. Um, and how they like relate to hometown. Hometown. 6-7 theory, toilet theory, piss and shit theory. Dude, we need better names for this stuff. I'm pretty sure they were named that on purpose. I'm pretty sure they named those things knowing damn well what they planned, you know. It's like when you go to a restaurant and they're like, "Yeah, so do you want the and I'm like, "Hey, can I just get the can I get just the number 5 over here?" Huh? The number what? The the number 5. The number 5 on the menu. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you say it out loud? Say what out loud? You know the no, the name, the name. I can't look at the menu, sir, you know. So I don't know what a number 5 is. You're gonna have to tell me what the actual name of the burger is. Can you can you get me the Big Daddy Long Legs burger? Yeah, man, coming right up. Like, Why the fuck do they name the burger that? You think you quirky as shit. Oh man, I can't. Can I have this dessert right here? Can you tell me what dessert it is? Can I have the diarrhea explosion, please? Please. It looks good. Also, what's this? Turns out, just talking to yourself with with nothing playing in the background makes your headphones think that you're not doing anything and they turn off. Anyway, let me I swear that I had seen the boards earlier today. They might be different now that well, they might be different now that things might have changed. I might also have to just look it up on Google because the search engine I'm using sometimes doesn't give me good results unless I randomly decide to go to Google. Um, hometown and then the tier boards. Bruh, give me an image of the mantle games. Sword root, here wait. Mantle boards, root 3. Bruh. Google, you're supposed to be helping me. Um, mm, 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 mm. This sucks. I saw an image of the hometown connecting to the mantle games earlier today. So I'm low-key a little pissed that I'm not finding them. But whatever. I can maybe just find like one of them and I'll draw in what it's meant to be in hometown just to get it on the board. Mm, 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 mm. Google, you hate me, Google. Google, I need like. Why is it so hard to find one image of the mantle games? I think I was getting better results earlier. Google, I thought you would be better. What the hell, man? It's not even nice, Google. Um, okay, I think this is the best one I'm getting. We're gonna just put it down. Damn, that's big. Okay, so as this person shows up, Google bringing me mantle game, Deltarune, please, bro. Mike, give me mantle game now. So, as you can see from these guys, obviously, it's like, oh, this is Asgore, this is the flowers, this is Flowey, um, Bratty, or not Bratty and Caddy, Caddy and Caddy, I think. Obviously December because of the uh kind of deer PNG that is like unused in the files, but replaced by this one that has the teal eyes, which are the exact same teal that is in Dess's bedroom. And this is, Grayfish. We love you, Grayfish. Shout out to Grayfish. Is Undyne and Alphys. And I don't know what this bottom one is, where it's like, is this Noelle? I think this was people thought it was either the church or people thought it was either church, bunker, or it was meant to represent all the apartments, which would be crazy, right? Imagine going on the weird route and just like raiding the fucking apartment. That's something I would not believe happened in Deltarune, but I mean, hey, if that happens, that'd be crazy. But it's not shown here, but if you line up all the Mantle games, it does kind of look like a map of Hometown. And so the idea of toilet theory, well, that was root theory, but the idea of, I think, toilet theory is like that, like there could be a section, for example, in the weird root, where there's a manhole, and it straight up takes you to what could be considered the bunker or the depths, just because, the what I was trying to get at is the water and the sewer system, et cetera, is kind of seemingly full of darkness. The whole water is darkness and blah blah blah, like I was trying to say earlier. So the idea that the lake is a big plot point within um oh yeah, the mantle shelter does line up with hometown. I think the crowded room is where the apartments would be. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Not sure though. I'm pretty sure that people were theorizing that that was apartments, that was where the apartments were. Um, but yeah. So, and it also doesn't help that like what in the sword route, not in mantle route, but the sword route. Um, I think right before you kill Susie and 𝙬𝐼𝐸, the like they aren't the death boards, but the well, I'll just call them the sword boards for now. How everyone was like, oh, is this like basically genocide Undertale? Are you killing all your hometown fellas? And then people were like, no, actually, it's the hometown residents. Um, so yeah. Anyway, so the if our boys, the dreamers, and even 𝙬𝐼𝐸 represent fire, and I believe that this will be uh, a 𝙬𝐼𝐸-centric Dark World, partly for the fact that we have had three back-to-back chapters that are meant to be for specific characters of the Fun Gang. Mabel, what the fuck are you talking about? Chapters 3, 4, and 5 were all meant to be together. Were all meant to release together, right? So whatever is going to happen at the end of this is the middle. I think something that is kind of scary about Deltarune, and scary that I'm even doing this stream so early. Like I am not prepared. I was scared. I mentioned this in my last stream, but I was scared um when Toby was like, "Yeah, man, 2 weeks, fuck you," and that felt like so long ago because I have been nothing but preparing. This is a very bare bones um stream, but look out for when I actually play the chapter. It's gonna be crazy. Hopefully, hopefully it'll work out all well. But that's to say that like chapters 1 and 2 were not that far ago. Chapters 1 and 2 were like, I mean, yeah, they were years, but like they weren't that long ago. All your fellas, all my fellas, and it's just like, obviously I don't have the footage of me playing chapters 1 and 2. But I mean, I remember some parts of when I played chapter 1. Hell, the only reason I know of Undertale is because two of my friends at like the only pool party I've ever gone to as a kid. Um, I was gonna say it was for like one of my friends' birthdays or something, and I was just like sitting there like with my feet in the water, like haha water, and I'm like, hey guys, what are you guys talking about? And you know those edits where they're talking about how they first learned about Minecraft, and it's like, and they mentioned this game, dun dun, where they have blocks and all this stuff, and you can do anything you want, and then it's like meant to be this nostalgic like trip. I feel the same thing for Deltarune, where those friends, mention like, oh yeah, it's this game called Undertale and blah blah blah, and like, blah, 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 and I was just like listening to what they were saying. Um, and I ended up watching, I'm pretty sure Jacksepticeye play all of it, because I was already watching him play Happy Wheels religiously. Um, and those friends were the ones that got me into my first anime, which was surprisingly Death Note. and then I ended up stopping watching it like right before the final conflict. Like I'm pretty sure I stopped watching like at the like right before Ellen and Light's final conflict or something like that. And I ended up having to finish watching the show later on in life. It's a good show, by the way. Um, but yeah. And I even remember the first time I saw My Hero because I remember them showing me like a video where it's like, oh, dude, this episode just came out. Look at this new anime fight. And I obviously still had no fucking idea it was anime. But they were showing me these two guys fighting in an arena, and one of them using his cheek to like attack the guy, like trying to use his finger as a spring load with his cheek. And obviously that's Seku versus Todoroki in the what was it in the summer festivals or whatever. I don't know what the fuck he was doing with that either. I mean, I'm still that still doesn't surprise that still kind of surprises me. Why the fuck he could have blown his whole half his face off? Why the fuck was he doing that? I still agree with past me. But yeah, I mean, these games have grown up with me. I still have the little buddies figures from Fangamer that I asked for and I got for on Christmas. Um, and I was parading around at recess with them. I think I only brought them once or twice, but they got totally blown up. Toriel's like horns were kind of messed up. I feel like I can honestly fix them up. It's mostly like cosmetic stuff, or like you have to reattach a limb, which I've already done, but obviously not the best because it's been years. Like Lesser Dog has a Lesser Dog's like shield always comes off and his tail always comes off because they're kind of weak sections of his model. And I'm pretty sure Sans's legs are detached, but I just like put them back in the socket of his shorts, and he seems fine. Papyrus, nothing happened to him. Uh, Frisk, nothing happened to them. Toriel, again, like her horns caught a little fucked up, but it's pretty much fine. So so yeah, I never got the Little Buddies season 2 or whatever, which I kind of wish I did, and I kind of still can because Fangamer's awesome. Uh, um, what the fuck did you what the fuck did they do to them? I did nothing, dog. I did nothing. Okay, I played around with my Undertale figures at recess. Okay. Um, Hell, I remember when I first saw the AUs, right? It was 'cause, you know, as kids do, we were playing, Undertale RP at recess, right next to the Pokemon RP and shit. Uh, and My best friend at the time, that also was the one that was showing me the anime and the blah, you know what I mean? Um, he he ended up showing me like I think we were in line. I remember this so vividly. We were in line to do something because, we're like elementary school. And he turns to me and obviously I called dibs on Sans because everyone wanted to be Sans at the time. Who didn't want to be Sans at the time? Sans was like the best character. Uh, I'm pretty sure I actually dressed up for Sans as Halloween once, and I dressed up as Sans for Halloween once, and I had to like show my sister an image of Sans because she wanted to do like makeup for my face. Um, but I mean, yeah. And he comes up to me and he's like, "Dude, I know like a way we can both be Sans." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? There aren't two Sanses." And he's like, "Oh, check this out." And he shows me this guy called Epic Sans, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Epic Sans? Who's this Epic Sans guy?" And I didn't know what the AUs were. At the time, I just straight up believed. I was like, how the fuck did I miss Epic Sans? He's so epic. Oh, what the hell? This guy gets like this is like Daniel in the Cooler Daniel. Like I can't believe he got the better Sans than me. Um the Playground Undertale RP meta goes crazy. You can just call dibs on Sans and get the best character. I know, right? But it's okay. I let other people walk. I used Frisk for a long time. In fact, my Sona for several years was based off of not necessarily based off of Frisk, but had aspects of Frisk. Like if I were to look back at old versions of my Sona, you can like see like stripes on the sweater and everything. Obviously, it's gone far, far beyond that. And obviously my Sona didn't start as Frisk, right? But like there was a time, there was a time where my Sona looked like she was fucking just like Sans Undertale. Like blue fire coming out of the eye and everything. And that's so cool, dude. But I mean, it's insane that like over time, I watched Jacksepticeye play all the runs. I remember him in Hotland. I remember that evil ass thumbnail he had with the knife where he's like, I become evil now, and it's like the genocide run. I sadly, don't have any much more memories of back then, but I do remember when I first saw Deltarune, and the only reason why is because I remember clicking on the thumbnail of GT Live saying Undertale 2 question mark Undertale 2. And for chapter 2, see, guys, I was a low key, and I still am a low key LARPer, right? When it comes to FNAF, I haven't played as many FNAF games as I know of the lore. I know all the lore, but I haven't played that many FNAF games. I probably should. I should binge all the FNAF games. I played Undertale on stream pretty recently, but before then, I played like I think I played Undertale up to the Papyrus fight on my 18th birthday. Um, and that was like one of the first times I had played Undertale. And yeah, that's crazy, right? Because like so much of these things. And I remember as a kid, I was like, oh well, I already know so much about Undertale. What is the point of playing it, right? What's the point of playing it? What's the point of looking at all this dialogue if there's not anything more to see? And yet, I actually watched my friend play the ending of their pacifist route or whatever the other night, and there was some stuff I hadn't noticed earlier. And the only reason why is because I hadn't like noticed those NPCs. Because who's gonna randomly mention, John NPC number 27 in the middle of Waterfall, right? If he's not lore relevant, then who gives a shit? And I remember playing and keeping up with Toby on the 10th anniversary and having to check if NPCs were already there or not, And most of them were. I was like, damn, I'm a fucking Undertale LARPer. That's to say though, I played chapter 2 by myself, but because I had only ever seen people play chapter 1, um I was going in it full blind, right? To the point that I actually had to be Giga Queen the next night. I couldn't beat her the night that I started playing the chapter. And that's because I didn't know that Rousey could heal. That's right, I'm a LARPer, bro. I didn't know Rousey could heal. I didn't know that because I was only like looking at the story and everything else. And like yeah, I saw people like yes, I saw Game Theory like play the first chapter, right? But I mean that's like if I watched someone play Into the Pit and then I watched a million theories on Into the Pit, but I never played it myself. There is really, even if you fully know everything, there's experience and there's, joy to be found in just playing it yourself because you get to experience it yourself because there's a difference between watching someone do it and you do it yourself. Uh, but I remember being so stressed at the Giga Queen fight only to find out that I could heal. And I was using just my items, and I refused to use items. I played Amori for what, 50 hours? I didn't get into any of the motions, and I barely used any items. So, I mean, wonder why it took me so long. I feel like you know that scene that Noelle has with Rudy in the hospital where she's like, "But I can't use all my items. I'm saving them for something." And then he's like, "Saving them for what?" And like that's true. What are you even saving them for? Uh, and obviously the big weight between chapters 2 and 3, I grew more as a person. I got super Deltarune brained, and I obviously hold very much in my heart, chapter 4 and chapter 3. Um, and having them and being able to rewatch them and everything like that. And I obviously hold the whole game in my heart a lot, but I saw this person recently, today, talk about how they think that the whole idea of Deltarune is waiting and the years that go by and the community that you cultivate. I mean, just the fact that local is in my comments right now, in my chat right now, is proof of, a built community. And the fact that I can even stream and have any amount of concurrent people even listening to me at this point is proof of that. Uh, and like that's crazy. And to say that Deltarune and Undertale and Toby Fox in general has impacted my life so much. I fucking breathe this game, man. Hi, Wave, that's me. Hi. Uh, by the way, I gotta like tag Ben Man after this stream. Like, hop on. You're pulling up to the. Sorry, my headphones died again. But I'm like, you better you better get over here. You better get over here and pull up on chapter 5. Um, but yeah, no. So much stuff has been happening recently. I've had to do a bunch of like random grown-up stuff recently, and I feel like Deltarune, like usually life balances itself out, but Deltarune is trying to take all that good energy, and so the rest of my life is getting fucked up, and I just have to wait for Deltarune. I have to keep waiting a couple days. See, everyone else gets to play Deltarune Chapter 5 in the morning. I'm waiting until Friday. So I'm gonna have to spend all day, thinking on that and obviously preparing. And I'm not complaining about having a little more time. But like, dude, I'm gonna have to be off social media. I can't even trust my friends. My friends will my friends have sent me a spoiler once. I'm not taking that chance. Who do I look like? I better not see a damn character anywhere. Uh, Bro needs to pull up. I know, right? Deltarune is waiting, dude. I've been waiting. I've been waiting too. Deltarune better get over here. I know, right? What do you mean Deltarune is waiting? I'm waiting. Get over here. But yeah, just kind of like the community that it's cultivated, and even the story of Deltarune kind of being about, you know, a band of misfits coming together for this great cause and learning about each other and being great friends. That actually brings me to a great thing that I want to talk about, which is that the final prophecy, right? Oh my God, Mabel, you're actually gonna fucking talk about theories now? This is like when the teacher just randomly decides to uh to go on a tangent about her life, and you're like, thank God. How much more time can I squeeze out? Nope. Take out your history books again, 'cause we're getting on the prophecy. What do you guys think the final prophecy is? Because I think I know what it is. I think I know exactly what it is, and I'm confident about it. I'm confident about what I think the final prophecy panel is. Hold on, let me get my dog out. Let me this annoying dog. Let me get her out. Uh, I think I know what the prophecy panel is, or the final prophecy is, and I don't think it's that someone like dies, and I don't think it's like the dark worlds are sealed forever, and everyone dies, and it's all sad, and we all yeah. I mean, assuming that they have to seal the Grand Fountain or whatever, um, it's called and never see the Dark Worlds again. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that the final prophecy is about sealing Dark Worlds, because what is the prophecy about? It's about balance between light and dark. It's about how the start of the game is literally like, hey, another geyser, another dark fountain is on the horizons, right? Which also makes it assume that you could see other dark worlds from other dark worlds, right? I've seen theories of people saying that like we could see other dark worlds from other dark worlds. And if you look at the end of chapter 3, right, when you're fighting the knight, there's a fountain in the back, and then there's a fountain right in front when you fight the knight. Fight the knight, begin to fight the knight. Um, which I've heard theories that maybe that's the bunker dark world. Maybe there's an already existing dark world back there. Maybe that's even Castletown. Is Castletown like separated from all the other dark worlds? seemingly not, because at the start of the Deltarune scroll or whatever, we can actually see Castletown. We can see Ralsei's castle, and then we can see King's Castle's Dark Fountain all the way in the distance, right? And assumedly, we have these like outskirts areas that are, these eye areas that seemingly are like this undefined, like kind of undefined areas of Dark Worlds that just haven't fully formed as Dark Worlds, right? They're almost like this like raw version of what a Dark World even is. Um, Hell, I could see the bunker or the shelter or whatever being almost like that, but more intense, almost like how the core is kind of like giving you like, a king frogget and stuff like that. Um, and having stuff like that be like bigger versions of existing uh smaller entities, and then having them tell you what Azrael's story is. I want to also say, wait, let me get King Frogget out here. I know, really, King Frogget on the theory board? What does King Frogget have to do with any of this? I'll tell you what King Frogget has to do with any of this. Um, is, at least in my opinion, while watching my friend play uh play those chapter or not those chapters, um, I was watching them play uh like the ending of their pacifist run. You know what, that's good enough. And I don't know if y'all are noticing on King Frogget over here, but King Frogget, what's this? What what's this over here, buddy? Because it kind of looks like Kara, um, or someone with those like star point, save point eyes with a smile. And oh, what's this? What's this? Seemingly these triangle shaped things with what seems to be wings. You're telling me this isn't the Deltarune? This also doesn't have to be a smile. This could be the heart locket. This could be several things, but no one has ever brought this up. And I'm like, I don't know. It looks like bro has a prophecy panel. Final Frogget has a prophecy panel on bro's chest. Not to mention that where they show up is the core, which is made by Gaster. We don't know if that's what he fell into, or if he fell into a Dark Fountain, or Entry 17, or did he fall into the depths? Did he make a giant fucking thing of darkness? We don't know. But we also have in that area is these kind of tubes, and in the tubes are actually cyan, pink, and yellow tubes. And while it's kind of seemingly like a printer, like, oh, it's meant to be primary colors and blah, blah, right? It could also be assumed that that is meant to be Noelle, Susie, and Chris, which isn't shown a lot because, like, the whole idea is that Susie is the one that is the false girl. That Noelle was originally meant to be the prophecy, meant to be the girl, and the one with Cope crossed on her heart, and Susie isn't part of the prophecy, which is why she will be the one to defy it. That is to assume, though, that that the Lightner counterparts, aka Chris, Susie, and Noelle, aren't also like a big thing. And from what we saw of the festival, hold on, let me actually get the image out. Uh, Festival Deltarune 5. See if I get the image. No. Festival. See, if only my browser knew what Deltarune meant. Okay, hold on. Okay. So as we see from this very real shot of Hometown that we got, because we haven't gotten shit from Hometown outside of, again, this thing that dropped today, and this that dropped a couple days ago, or not a couple days ago, it was like a week ago, but you know what I mean.
or a little more. But this is the only shot we've gotten of hometown seemingly. And what's this? Noelle is behind us. There was a lot of theories that um, there would be kind of a thing of um, Noelle being there and being turning into a permanent party member, permanently joining the fun gang. And I don't know about that because again, I was gonna mention this, but chapters 3, 4, and 5 were all meant to be bundled together. They're the middle of the story, and all of them seemingly were directed towards a specific party member of the fun gang, right? We've got chapter 3 with Chris, very obvious, sword games, Tenna, all of that. Chapter 4 with Susie, Gerson, all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And so that's why I truly believe that Ralsei will very much be the main one and the main focus of chapter 5, especially considering he knows how to do a lot of stuff. Again, like he knows to fly, he can do fire magic, he knows all the stuff about the prophecy. I've seen stuff about how people are saying that Azrael summons his final weapons. He summons uh his blaster and his swords. Wait, Azrael Undertale attacks. Let's check this shit out. So I don't have the exact um I don't have the exact things, but pretty sure you can literally see it uh is hold on. This is his like blaster already shooting out. If you remember, his blaster has rainbow in it, and it shoots out, and it spreads out. See those wings? You see those wings over there? You seeing this? This looks a lot like the DT extractor. I mean, he's literally shaped like the angel, and Asgore literally has the angel imprinted on his chest. I don't know if anybody noticed that. I noticed that when we were fighting Asgore in when I was catching up with our friend. But Asgore literally has the Delta rune on his chest. Here, wait. Asgore. I'm trying to get all the theories out because I cannot even look at social media uh, after tonight. After tonight, I basically have to delete TikTok off my phone, and I have to be very, very, very cautious about YouTube. It is going to be a very boring next couple days for me, at least when it comes to like being at work. I'm going to be sitting there for hours thinking about Deltarune, and I better not get spoiled. But look at this, look at this. So he has the two different colored eyes, by the way. Um, a lot of people have mentioned the stuff of Asgore and Friend, and why would Asgore even attack Chris? And saying like, oh well, it wouldn't be Asgore, he would be under the influence of Friend. And considering it is literally the field of pink and gold, and if Gaster is just a silent observer, then Friend seems to be the big bad, or something along those lines, right? Outside of the night, obviously. So that's to say that like I could definitely see Friend appearing in this chapter not only, but also, he could be the secret boss. He could be fighting. He could be taking over Asgore. He could be the Flowey. He could be the golden flower. And it's like, oh shit, never mind, it's Friend. Which I have seen correlations between Flowey and Friend, and saying that like, oh, Friend is just Deltarune's Flowey, which I would be perfectly fine with, by the way. I love Flowey. This chapter feels like it was fucking made for me, man. This is gonna be a great chapter. But is it just going to be Flower King, or are we going to get a second Dark World? That has also been mentioned. Will there be a second Dark World? Will it be Des's room? Will it be the Holiday Manor? And I will say probably not. Probably not. And if it is, it will have to be like one or two rooms. I do not think that we're gonna open, we're gonna pass by, Noelle's and there's just gonna be, a dark fountain spewing out of her windows or some shit. Um, Especially considering the mayor's house is like gigantic, and I'm sure all of town can see their house, you know? I don't know if that's the most secure thing. Speaking of, by the way, um, blue flowers. I don't know if anyone's been noticing. Um, Hold on, let's get the tab back in here. But these blue flowers, right? When you actually open up, let's refresh. It says Delta Rune, and then here's the thing, right? It goes Delta Rune, and it goes into what could be presumed Chris colors, and then it turns gray or black and white. I definitely believe there will be stuff for goners. I know someone made a theory about Chris secretly being the vessel and basically being the vessel given its own autonomy. I don't know how much I believe that theory, but I also don't think it would be bad if that happened. Um, People are saying these are forget-me-nots, and what type of flowers they are or whatever. I think we're not also bringing up the fact that the sparkles are pink and yellow. They are. They're pink. They're pink and yellow. These are the most pink and yellowy sparkles that I've ever seen. And if you want more proof, um, well, if you invert the colors, it is pink and yellow. And even just here, blue and green, right? Blue and green are Chris and 𝙝. I think we don't give enough love to the idea of like obviously we have a lot of pink and yellow because it's literally tied to friend, but blue and green are the other kind of color combo that we have been shown off. Um, Dude, I need 𝙝 to have kick-ass powers his aura. Exactly, dude. I need him to stand up for himself. I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but there's this Sans concept fight or whatever, where it's like Sans is like rage baiting and he's like, "Oh, uh, okay, we just need one more shadow crystal, Chris." And then Sans is like, "Shadow crystal? You mean this thing that's in my pocket?" And they're like, "Oh my God, you had the shadow crystal this whole damn time?" Um, and he's like, "Well, I guess I did. Can we have it?" Well, yeah, I guess you can. I'm not doing anything with it under one condition. I get that guy's scarf. 𝙝's scarf? Yeah. Can I have it? Is that what his name was? I wasn't really thinking about it, right? And basically, like, kind of degrading 𝙝, um, until 𝙝 eventually snaps. You know, Sans is like, oh, you're a Darkner. You were telling the flower guys that, it's a Darkner's duty to serve Lightners, so give me that scarf. And also, like, what if he did give Sans the scarf, and then that's fucking Papyrus the scarf? That'd be kind of crazy. I know that the whole battle body is meant to be like a costume, but we never see a costume of what. I mean, it looks like a Starman Earthbound, on the Mother series, but we don't necessarily know who or what he was cosplaying, or if they even had a scarf in the first place. They show that when people do like the baby bones version of Papyrus, they give him this big ass scarf, or it's like the same scarf, but it's really big on him because he's a baby, and so it's kind of meant to it's meant to, show off how small he is. Also, no, I'm not talking about Baby Bones or Chester or Togor or any of those guys. Though I did see people putting on their bingos that there would be a Togor reference, and I think out of everyone, Togor is definitely the easiest to make a reference for, especially considering Togor was like winning out against Kara when it came to names on the 10th anniversary. Outside of obviously something like Gaster or like Frisk or something, which well Toby's not gonna let that happen. Asgore having the orange and blue eyes, blue and orange, to contrast friends yellow and pink. Sparable enemy name colors is pretty damning. I just can't figure out how it relates. Yeah, no. I wonder why. I guess unless the whole joke is that it is a friend, right? Is in Undertale the exact chroma key of color for sparing is that yellow, and there is a pink spare that you can do. Um, I think it's like some super spare, or I forgot what it was, or like a dual spare. I forgot exactly what it was, but a Frogget in the Ruins I think tells you about it, and it's the exact chroma of it's the exact hue of friend. So that's kind of crazy. And also we have seen friend have different shades, and the only shades we've seen him have is a darker kind of magenta and less of a pink. And I think that's more to show off that the pink and the purple are similar in the sense that you could consider Susie as pink and purple, or you could also show that off as Bratty and stuff, or not Bratty, as in Caddy. Sorry, as in Caddy. And I mean, even in Undertale, Bratty and Caddy's colors, I think they're purple and pink, and they have them in like as gel pen as dialogue, uh, which I kind of forgot about. Don't ask what happens and whoa, don't ask what happened at nine. Hold on, don't don't ask what happened in 1927. Queen Knight. That's my TED Talk. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Sir, what happened in 1927? Sir, 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 what happened? I'm trying to know. I'm trying to know what happened. Hello? Anyway, anyway. Friend colored sparkles. It's the Roaring Knight cosplay. Trust. Queen Knight. Uh, uh, we don't talk about it. I mean, I just did. I don't know who we is, but I just asked you. Uh, Roaring Knight cosplay. I have a question. Do some of you actually believe in Papyrus Knight? Or are you just fucking trolling for it? Also, we see all the flowers everywhere. And like you said, the orange and blue, the orange and blue colors over here. And guess who's orange and blue right now? Guess who's got orange and blue as as fucking things over here? And there's orange and blue balloons here too, which is crazy. And orange and blue banners. Hold on, gamers. And there are the blue flowers that we see in the website. Now, I feel like the flowers have way more stuff going on than the towers did in chapters 3 and 4, right? Because the chapter 3 and 4 towers were about the church. That was basically like confirmation that it was church dark world for us. Always been on Papyrus Night. I feel like everyone says that, but no one truly means it. No one ever truly means they want Papyrus Night. I feel like I haven't heard people truly want Papyrus Night. Here, let me get Azrael's other attack in here. His swords. Let me get his swords in. Swords. Because his swords are also something that that apparently he is something he apparently summons. Which again, if these if these weapons are angelic weapons, if these are brought upon by the angel, and this whole thing is Ralsei centric, Azrael centric, Azrael might straight up come back because we had the idea that Deltarune was a 1 week game, but because of Chapter 3, that's been completely thrown out the window. Um, and so he might just come back uh, uh, early to surprise his parents over the festival, right? I could definitely see him coming back during the festival chapter. In fact, do we think the festival will be happening before or after the Dark World of Flower King? And will there be several Dark Worlds? I'm feeling like I'm losing hope for the idea that there will be several Dark Worlds. Maybe several Dark Worlds in the sense that, like, if you consider the separate sanctuaries separate Dark Worlds, which I guess I also consider them, but like theming wise, no. I obviously saw people doing like a Winter Wonderland type idea since if you look at the weird root, uh, here, let me actually look that up. Weird root numbers deltarune. The kind of numbers here it is. Here is all the numbers. So the weird root numbers only go up to chapter 5, which is surprising, right? They only go up to chapter 5, and there are several things, I won't name all of them, but there are several things that point to chapter 5 being this seeming end, right? Most indie games end in 5 chapters. Uh, this was supposed to be, again, like this was supposed to be packaged with the rest of it. This was supposed to be kind of this ending, middle of it. A lot of people are theorizing, putting on their bingo boards, that the roaring will be the ending shot of this chapter. And I honestly, I could agree with that. I honestly could see that. And the whole idea that this is one last fun adventure, that all we've seen is seemingly nice scenes from the Dark World, and the only scene that we've seen is a bit of what seems to be the festival, and more spots of the festival opening up, which I think more of Hometown will open up because, well, we saw the lake and we saw the Snowgrave stuff, so there has to be more spaces for things to be happening in Hometown. I also saw people say that I think I have the tab open so I could get that, but that there is a section of Hometown that Chris might straight up be like running past to make sure that we don't get near it. Um, Hold on. Okay, I had to play a small sound just so that my my computer doesn't turn off my headphones randomly. All my tabs are opening. Hold on, let me read this stuff. Um, I troll Papyrus Knight, but Spamton Knight on the other hand, Spamton is not the fucking knight. Papyrus Knight has never been my thing. I don't believe it. My genuine guess is that it'll be Des, and my personal favorite answer anyway. I agree with that. I think a lot of people want it to be something that isn't Des, uh, particularly just for the fact that they think it'd be kind of that it'd be kind of predictable. But then I also see other people saying that it'd be bad writing if it's not Des, because then Des would just be this kind of damsel in distress, stuck in the code, stuck in the bunker type deal, and that it would be a waste of a character. And I mean, I don't know. I the story could definitely go into the idea of like, find her, and no matter what we do, especially on the weird route, that we will not find her, that we will never find her, or that we will find her and it will be something twisted like the monkey's paw, um, or anything like that. Because I remember back when we were, thinking like, oh yeah, back when we thought it was just called the bunker, we were like, there's gonna be a scene of us opening the bunker and it's like hand in hand with Des like limping out of the bunker. She's fully okay and everything like that. And well, a lot of people clown on the idea that her mind is in the code or stuck in darkness. And as we know, the night is this kind of crystallized glass, almost darkness, in the same way that the dark shards and shadow crystals are of glass and of the prophecy and all that stuff. And even that it seems like the knight is wearing a quote unquote helmet. I joked to my friend recently that what if what if taking off the helmet there's nothing there, and that ERAM is like Des's head, and you have to like place it on top of them, and that's what ERAM was, because ERAM's just this kind of floating guy. But what if the little tentacles are Des's hair? I know that's kind of a crack theory, but I've never heard anyone talk about it, and I think it'd be kind of cool if that ever happened. Especially that would also concern Des Nightmare and the idea that maybe Night is connected to Friend, and Death's Nightmare, your best nightmare? I don't know, dog. That'd be kind of crazy. Um, I do Queen Knight because no one else does it. Queen Knight is not real, bro. Attack of the Black Knife would go hard. It would. I'm sure there's a remix for that somewhere. Now that I think about it, where does the Omega Flowey fight take place? Um, Seemingly the Omega Flowey fight takes place in Flowey's world, in this like reduced save file where he basically destroys all of Undertale and he leaves himself to rebuild the timeline and to rebuild it. He literally says in his Asriel fight that he plans to not take over the world, but just to reset it so that him and Kara can play forever. And this is just a really big like thing of game, and it's kind of all representative of you not wanting to let go of the game, literally having to console a guy to let go, and you have to let go yourself. And I think something very meta like that will also happen in Deltarune, where it will very much be a kind of thing of like, Deltarune is waiting, Undertale wants you, Deltarune or Undertale the end, let Frisk live their life type shit. Oh well, it takes place in Flowey Tale, and that's what the window is called when you open the game after Flowey crashes. That is true. It is called Flowey Tale, and I think it's called Flowey's World as a save file as well, like or just Flowey, like Flowey's, when he opens it. Which, by the way, the Omega Flowey fight, one of my favorite things in Undertale ever. And I actually think since we're on the topic of Omega Flowey, since we're on the topic of it, let's actually hold on. Let me get the trailer out. Let me get the trailer out here. Deltarune trailer 5. Let me get the Deltarune trailer out. Since we're talking about Omega Flowey, I gotta get that I gotta get that part out of the trailer. Hold on. And it's Toby. Okay, let me get the let me get the scene. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So, chapter 5 is waiting with with a scene right here of Chris either attacking or getting attacked by knives. Now, I don't know how many people have made this correlation, so I'll actually get it. Wait. If I can get the scene of her. Shit. Wait. Knight's hand. There it is. Well, okay. Well, I know I said knight's hand, but I also meant the knife. Do they have an image of the knight's hand with the knife? I guess not. Do they have a video? I literally just need an image of I do not need her boss battle. I literally need her monologue, like afterwards. There's quite a few Photoshop flowery tennis songs out there. That one attack drives me nuts. What do you mean we got the patient's knife attack over here? I know, right? Hold on. Not here. I need her Queen's monologue. Wait. Queen Deltarune. Okay.
The night.
Okay, there it is. There it is. So, it's gonna chop this image. Um, had to get it from a fucking YouTube short. Anyway, as we can tell from Hapter 5, as we can tell on Hapter 5, um, over here is the knight with the knives, right? But also, hold on, if I can get the image, because I actually saw it earlier. Here it is. This image as well. These are all obviously knives. No shit. But they all look slightly different, but they all have the same build mostly. I mean the knife in the prophecy looks more like a machete, and the knife that Queen shows that the knight will like plunge into the earth, um, also is kind of like a smaller knife, and the knife from the patient's soul is seemingly a more basic looking knife. Yo, Queen, Attack of the Killer Queen. That is true. Knight. We can't see it. I think you forgot to switch to screen over. You sound crazy. Switch to screen. Oh shit. Oh, you're right. My bad. My bad. My bad. I do look totally crazy. Mike, my board. Thank you, Mike. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I look crazy. So as you can see over here on Hapter 5, uh, we have got this kind of like baby knife that will apparently be plunged in by the knight. I know we were counting the knight's like fingers, like this was FNAF where we were counting their damn toes. This one looks more like a machete in the prophecy panel, and this is more like just a basic knife, almost like the one that Chris has. I mean, I guess I would say that Chris actually kind of has more of a knife like this. Um, but anyway, let me get to the point. I think it'd be pretty cool if this was Chris fighting us, but I don't think it is. I think it's probably, like I said earlier, one of the flowers attacking us in self-defense of Asgore, assuming that we are an enemy of some sort. In fact, I could definitely see Susie and Chris being assumed enemies of some sort, and then 𝛚 being the one that isn't. In the same way that Queen captures all of the Lightners, but does not capture 𝛚 and keeps him as a butler. I could see that as almost being a similar thing of that, and I could definitely see Chapter 5 in the idea that let's have one more last fun adventure, also kind of being like a, you know how people were like, oh well, Tenna died. It was kind of like a, one last adventure, literally shooting the puppy type thing where it's like a complete loss of innocence, like the knight literally cutting down Tenna in front of us while it was like such this nice scene. And yet we're going in Chapter 5 with the idea that this will be our last fun adventure. Not that Chapter 3 was our last fun adventure, but that we kind of got shot down. We dipped in the pool in Chapter 4, but we're kind of, we saw, as Toby says, we saw like dark clouds on the horizon. So for now, let's look at the sunset and let's enjoy one last fun adventure. Now, obviously, that's bullshit because because what the fuck is this, Toby? Right? That's fucking bullshit. Now, it's not fully bullshit because if you also look at this, it is pretty beautiful. So, I mean, these are both in Hometown. These are both not even like Dark Worlds. And from what we do see of Japan Dark World, it does look pretty nice. It does look pretty cool. And hell, I could definitely see us going into Chapter 5 having this doubt, having this like worry, because I do think that again part of Deltarune's experience is the weight, is the community, is the theorizing and the everything. And this is part of Deltarune, right? So I could definitely see something like a Flowey character, especially the Golden Flower. Especially when it comes to what was it, the seven suns seamer or whatever it's called. Hold on. The the Sunset of Seven Suns that Toby made 10 years ago and has Asriel and Finale in it? Or not Asriel. Does it have Asriel or does it have Asgore? Asgore's, I don't know. But like 10 years ago, dude? What the fuck? Dude, we are never getting another Deltarune. That is insane. Um, Chris don't have 5 fingers theory just unlocked. That's right. Chris wasn't the knight, and you guys are dumb as shit. I think it's a Cyan Flower, yeah. Well, Queen only did that because she ran out of cages. That is true. That is true. But I do think that there will be a thing between Asgore and 𝛚𝐸, um, and that the whole idea of, the mage splitting from the party, uh, and, getting replaced by the other mage, and everyone thinking that that was going to be a thing of like having you know, this like breakup with 𝛚𝐸, this kind of like act three friend breakup, and then being like, we're replacing you with Noelle or something like that, which I mean could happen because I don't know if you guys are noticing, but Ram, right? Hold on. Let's get the thing, right? Ram Deltarune. I don't think anyone else has mentioned this as well. Uh, where is it? Ram Deltarune. Where's the part where he turns to stone? Stone. Okay, well, they're showing me images of him turning to stone. They're not showing me literally the sprite of him turning to stone. And this is why I have to go back to Google. Um, I'm sure Google will have it. Google, you're pissing me off. You're also not helping. Okay, well, come on, guys. Everybody hates me. What the hell? What the hell, dude? Okay, you know what? Okay, wait, I think I found it. I think I found it. It's like a kind of shittily cropped version, but we're gonna get it. So, if anyone's seeing this right here, this this color scheme, right? This color scheme is a light blue, a dark blue, and a purple. And let me actually go back to the Deltarune website real quick. When you refresh it, like I showed earlier, let me get an image of it. What's this? What colors is it? Ooh, that's right. Light blue, seemingly a pink or purple, which we already said is kind of intertwined with Susie and, with Friend and everything in the magenta. And is Caddy Cadenheimer going to be part of the group? We don't know. Along that, if Caddy does show up, will Jockington be part of the Tale of Hell? Will Jockington grow a beard and will he be the snake? Will this be a Bible reference? Anyway, these are the same fucking colors. And if we look over here, this would be dark blue, purple, and light blue. Now you may say, "Oh, but May, isn't Noelle yellow?" We've also seen Noelle as light blue, especially concerning Snowgrave and ice powers. So I could definitely see an idea that 𝛚𝐸 goes off on his own with Asgore, and this is how this is how we get Snowgrave Chapter 5 to be this big. Because, hold on, sorry. Seemingly, the ways to activate Snowgrave, or like, what is big within Snowgrave, is shown in this chart, right? And while Chapter 1 barely has anything, Chapter 2 is obviously big, right? Chapter 3 is literally has a whole route where it tells you how to get to the chapter, how to get to the weird route. Chapter 4 is the scene where you literally choose to continue the weird route or not. Chapter 5 is shown to be the ending of it. And if the whole uh, uh, where did she smile ARG leads to the lake and the song of the lake and all the water references to the lake and to Des and the water and deep down and did Des drown in the lake? Is the bunker the sewers? Toilet theory, root theory, all that stuff, right? You'd probably get to Noelle here, right? You'd probably get to Noelle here. Um, Chris wasn't the knight? Nah, need proof. Need to see them both in the same room. Well, it would be crazy if I told you that they have been in the same room together. Um, Google Chris as a knight then. Oh, hell no, I'm not Googling that. No, thank you. Uh, Google showed me petrified ram. Yeah, I also looked that up. Burley, Chris, and Susie. I don't think it's Burley, Chris, and Susie. Um, I mean, it could be. I've seen a theory that the whole like flowers and everything um on the website are meant to be of like seemingly some sort of thing of Birdly, and that Birdly will be the one to kind of deal with the weird root or even stop the weird root, just because in a way the game and us have overlooked Birdly. Obviously, he's been overlooked like his whole life, but even when he gets straight up killed and everything, Chris is technically the one to bring him to the hospital, and we know that Birdly has a mom because of the 10th anniversary, and also like mentions of him and or mentions of her and of his parents and all that stuff. And like he's not dead, obviously, but like, dude, we don't even see Birdly's mom at the hospital with him or anything like that, right? Um, that's also to say, will there be Curdly at the festival? Maybe, maybe. Snowgrave Cannon Route? Perchance, perchance. Dreamt Chapter 5 leaked, and the only thing I got spoiled on was Jockington growing facial hair because, and being like, Chris, you too can have, the courage to grow facial hair. You know, I believe that. I believe that. Listen, Toby saw the ending in a dream. You must have seen a revelation of chapter 5. That is to say, if Jockington does grow the beard, and if we do become enemies with Caddy because we side with Susie, will that have something to do with Cat's friend? Will the whole snake thing do with the tail of hell? And again, the snake from the Bible. From Bible? I believe so. I believe so. But anyway, I mentioned this to say that the knife that the knight apparently plunges into the earth um, is obviously different than the knife that we actually see. This one's honestly a little more. It's wider and it's not as long. The one that the knight has is more like a katana, a machete, or whatever, or maybe even a baseball bat, a very sharpened baseball bat. Um, for any of those death truthers out there, but I could definitely see this being Chris attacking us. But also, why would they? I feel like if Chris attacked us, it would be in the light world, if anything. Um, and alongside that, I do believe this is probably just one of the flowers attacking us. And if this is a moment in a solo fight or something, I don't think it'll be the secret boss. Because if it's a secret boss, that means that Ralsei is not the secret boss holder, which would suck because it's supposed to be Ralsei's chapter, dog. Man, I don't even want to become enemies with Caddy and Jockington. Those guys are awesome. That is true. Deltarune is the Bible of Undertale. Technically is. We kill 𝙑𝐼𝐸 so they have enough time to kill us. Wait, we kill 𝙑𝐼𝐸 so they had enough and killed us in the Dark World? Question mark. I mean, I don't think that we would do that. And the closest thing I have to that is that, you know, in in John Mantle games, we kill Susie and 𝙑𝐸, but I don't think that's straight up gonna happen. I don't think the Weird Root is gonna like have a moment where we just straight up kill Susie and 𝙑𝐸. And if it does, it would have to be some like crazy well-written dramatic shit. Because all the ones I've seen are kind of, I mean, obviously I've seen a lot of people go like, oh, I'm so happy that Toby Fox is writing this and not the fans. But like that's I don't know, that's part of the fun. And obviously Toby is the best at knowing this stuff. He basically planned it all out, and I mean, yeah, he knows what he's writing. He knows what the main themes are and everything. Um, there are people to kill Papyrus and Undertale, they do it. I'm not saying that they wouldn't do it. I'm just saying that I don't think the game would allow us to do that. I'm not saying whether players would do it or not. I think the whole idea of the player in and of itself is to assume that anything and everything allowed to be done will be done, right? That's part of what makes the player so threatening and so scary. That in every instance, Sans can be all nice to us in the pacifist route all he wants, but we can straight up kill him in a different route. We can kill all his family and everything and blah 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 and all that stuff. And we're choosing not to, but a different version of us definitely did. All those videos where it's like, I kill all the Washawas, but I don't kill anybody else, and I see what happens. And most of the time it's nothing, but sometimes, you know, what is it? If you kill Metaton and Undyne, doesn't like Alphas like curse you at the end of the neutral route? Um, split timelines? Split timelines what? Like of the neutral route? Because there's a bunch of different neutral routes uh that we get to see in Undertale. I also will say I don't necessarily think Toby is lying about the one ending. I think it's more like one ending in the sense that like whatever's gonna happen happens, but maybe the one ending is the angel being met with its desire and us being banished, right? Us being unable to play anymore, and for us to have to leave the game alone. In the same way that Flowey literally begs us to leave Frisk alone, after a pacifist route, I think. There's like 90 plus different neutral routes. The route is neutral about these things. Yeah. Oh, speaking of, what do I think the final prophecy is? I'm gonna be honest. My and y'all can quote me on this. What I think the final prophecy is that they will forget. The whole idea is don't forget. I think the final prophecy is that they will forget. That they will forget of their adventures. That they will forget of the Dark World. Not that the Dark Worlds will be sealed. Not that any of that. Because the the prophecy states not that they need to, shut the line between dark and light. It's meant to be a balance. It's not, they're not going to shut down the dark world. Um, Nor are they going to kill all the darkners and the final prophecy, kill 𝙑𝐸. I don't think it's going to be any of that. But I do think that the whole idea of Undertale and the whole idea of Deltarune and how they connect. And even Clam Girl saying that meeting Susie might have been the whole reason you did this in the first place, right? I think Sans's drawer in the back of his thing, with a poorly drawn image isn't poorly drawn because the person didn't know how to draw. I think it was rapidly drawn. I think someone was forgetting their memory and they were saying don't forget. I think the ending of the game is them forgetting, or the ending prophecy is to forget. There is going to be one ending, but there's multiple ways of getting there. Uh, that's true. I was gonna say more like there would be different outcomes, but one ending. I think the one ending thing is somewhat meta, that the characters themselves are having to fight. I think the final prophecy is the one ending that can be defied. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. The idea of like the prophecy being this, all thing, right? This unwavering, you can break the glass, but it'll show up in a different spot, whatever, you know. Also, I feel like at this point, I believe that Chris knows almost everything about the prophecy. Not that they're this master manipulator. In fact, there is very much a power imbalance when it comes to, the mayor and it comes to them and all that stuff. And in fact, I kind of see the mayor as almost more of a villain and more malicious because obviously Chris does care for their friends and all that stuff. And well, I don't know how much they like us, you know. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Um, is that if Chris knows about the prophecy and them and 𝛽𝐼𝐸 consistently are like talking behind our back and like using the game to do that. And I also saw a post today where it was like there is a part of hometown that it seems like Chris just runs past and we don't get to see, right? That there's a street that we don't get to see. And I saw that post say like, oh, maybe the street has their therapist office or whatever that would have been the Gaster of this world. Um, oh shit. I got a message. I got a message from Mike. My boy Mike. Mike's sending me shit. Dude, look what Mike's sending. Mike's sending me some peek right now. Hold on, copy URL. Thank you, Mike. Can I get it? Can I get it in here? Oh, I can't. Wait, I'm gonna have to just like screenshot it. Wait, I have to view friends. And then I have to go back to messages. I guess I closed it too quickly. I don't know whose art is this, so I won't show it for too long. But dude, Frick Bears Vanabelle as Noelle. That's peak. I played Frick Bears pretty recently. I haven't fully finished everything. I do plan to go back to it and everything later, but Frick Bears is pretty cool. Um, they forget no. That'd be super sad though. I'd like that. Yeah, I think that it's the most fitting idea. I don't think that there's going to be this dramatic thing where it's like we have to kill Chris, right? Because the whole idea is Susie saying like you wouldn't let that happen, I wouldn't let that happen. Like why would we let this happen, right? And if the whole idea is a community, the whole idea is, the band of the misfits and their memories together, and let's have one last fun adventure, okay? I think straight up, what hurts the most isn't someone's death. It's forgetting, right? It's having them all forget and not know each other. It's having Susie go back to not necessarily being a bully, right? But not even knowing Chris, not even knowing of the Dark Worlds. That would be, you know, that would be crazy. And I've recently gotten into Moon, a remix RPG adventure, and its ties within Deltarune because it has been Toby has said that that is a that is a point of inspiration him. And for any spoilers for Moon, you'd probably want to click off now, but uh you play as a character at the start. And then later on, you'll play as a different character, and it recontextualizes your actions as bad. And you basically, as the second character, you have to go back and basically fix all the stuff you did, right? Like, imagine that as the first protagonist, you killed a village, right? Then as the second protagonist, you have to rebuild the village. You have to find a way to bring back the people of the village or something like that through magical means. You know what I'm saying? Um, and funnily enough, the first character is the knight, is a knight that goes around and murders all these monsters and everything, right? And the second character is of you, literally you, wearing another kid's clothes in front of his grandma, which I seem to think is kind of like you possessing Chris in and like talking to Toriel as if you're her kid and doing all this stuff and basically living Chris's life. Um, and going back and trying to, fix whatever is going on, even though it is technically something that Chris either already did or is already, like knowing of. And alongside that, at the end of the game, um, the kind of game goes into this loop where, obviously the knight has to slay the dragon, right? But in the end, the kid that that was the knight turns into the dragon. So he has to basically kill his future self every time. And so it's basically this giant loop. Or at least that's kind of what's presumed. We don't exactly know if he was the knight. Um, but but yeah, it's kind of meant to assume that the ending, while necessarily not hopeful or not hopeful, but it is kind of this time loop. And even at the end, uh, all the monsters you recruit get slain by the knight at the very end. And it's like, well, that's there was no point in that. And while I don't think Deltarun's going to do that, I don't think that the whole idea of recruiting everyone just to get them all killed is what's going to happen. It does seem like recruiting and everything is the best way of showing your kindness and of quote unquote defying the prophecy outside of something like Snowgrave or a Weird Root, I guess. Um, do you think they will open a dark world in Des's room to find her? I mentioned that earlier, and I think that could happen. In fact, I've talked about how like the kind of like snowy the Winter Wonderland theme and the and uh kind of this bunker theme, the raw dark worlds I mentioned, kind of like the outskirts of chapter one and of TV World, uh, and also that we could have two chapter themed dark worlds in this chapter, but I don't think we will. Um, but if it does, quote me on that and pretend like I said yes. If they do a world, I think that'd be kind of cool. They could do that in the Weird Root or something. Maybe that could be how Weird Root defines itself as this like ending, because it seems like the Weird Root might end on this chapter. And what would be so big that the Weird Root literally ends this chapter? Speaking of, do you think that we will have Noelle as a new vessel uh, come forth Snowgrave? Frickbears 3 mentioned Holy Moly. I know, right? That's interesting. Time Merge, the night and the soul's time merge question mark. The night is the soul's past vessel, and night is the current vessel. Hello. Hi. Um, so hold on. Night is the soul's past vessel, and Chris is the current vessel. So assumedly the past vessel as in the vessel we create at the start. Almost like, you know, us naming Kara and then playing as Frisk. I guess I could see that, but I don't really know. Like that would kind of just be like what Fern does in an Adventure Time, where like he has this very knight looking attire, and he pulls up to Finn's birthday, and he's like, "It's my birthday too," and he rips off the mask, and it's like, "Excuse me, sir. Oh, look at him. It's actually Finn, you know." And it's like, "Oh, I was a vessel too," or something like that. Also, that would also assume that like there were two vessels, or that we made a second vessel, or that Chris is our second vessel, and why would they be? So I don't know about that. Sans is the night. Ah, shucks. Ah, shucks, you guys. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. Anyway, let's we've got a little more theory board on here, so I will actually hold on. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Let's actually get Des's room in here. Um, Des room, Deltarune. Oh, speaking of, I think this isn't mentioned, right? Oh my God, bro. I see my friend playing Deltarune right now. Are you playing Deltarune right now? I'm gonna beat you up. You playing Deltarune right now? without me. I can't believe you. Um, I'm pretty sure they're trying to replay all the chapters or something. Good luck on them. I don't know how long they have. Like last time I caught up with them, they were on chapter one. So good luck on that, dog. I was trying to redo all the chapters myself, but I ended up going like, hell no. I do not have the time. That'll have to be later. But as we see in 𝛻's room, I don't think if y'all noticed this, but have you seen the back wall? In fact, first off, look at the room, the room door, how the room looks, right? Okay, let's get 𝛻's room in here. Now, everyone already knows about 𝛻's room being this kind of in the middle room, uh, and the idea of 𝛻 being the green in between, 𝛻's room fitting perfectly between uh, Sans and Papyrus's rooms, and even the like A, C, and B rank like rooms, all of those rooms being exactly the same. But I don't think anyone's also mentioned that the brown door is actually in that door is actually the same door from the NTT Resort, I'm pretty sure. And not only that, but here, wait, snowman. Let me get the snowman. There's a lot of correlation towards the snowman and 𝐽 and bringing a piece of him to the surface, and even the fact that I don't know if you guys remember, but below that area is the muscular papyrus that Papyrus makes, and the like pile of sands that Sans made. And there's a place between those that the snowman would fit. And the snowman asks you to take a piece of him with you to the surface. Um, so I believe that the snowman is very much connected to 𝐽 and connected to the like different rooms. If we can let me go back real quick. This room, 𝐽. Also, obviously, the original egg room has a similar look to it, and all the other egg rooms kind of have this like opening to a square area. But on top of that, we can see, oh, what's this? Look at the background, guys. Look at the background. Oh, dude, what does that? What does that look like? Oh, what does that look like? Whoa, whoa! It looks like the Ocean.OGG image. It looks like waves. And and to be honest, 𝛻's room entirely looks like it's underwater, which if we're gonna go off the idea that 𝛻 uh drowned, then maybe. And with all the stars and everything, right? That could also be assumed of the night and stars and wept the fallen star. And I see a lot of people saying that the night when it turns to see us in the fight. Here, let's get night dribble. That it is like oh, Deltarune. We'd have to get Deltarune specifically. But I thought that it was tears. And I still kind of go off that idea that wept the fallen star. I still think they're tears, but a lot of people think maybe it's drool, maybe it's some sort of thing. Maybe if it's Rudy Night, maybe he's like super sick, which I mean he is, but you get what I mean. Um, what if there are multiple nights? I feel like multiple nights was a theory that got stomped out after chapters 3 and 4 came out. But I mean, hey, maybe. I feel like we're more on the idea of who is the knight and the small candidates left that could be the knight, and less, you know, if there are multiple knights. I think there's only one knight, and if anything, Knight and Chris are very correlated together. That they seem to have similar mannerisms. Also, damn, there's 7 people in here. Uh, Kinda unrelated, but I'm a really big fan of human death theory. I agree with that actually. Human death theory is fucking peak, dude. It would be so cool to have Des have been a human, um, because that would correlate with Chris so much more, dude. And the horned headband and everything like that. Like imagine an antlered headband. Um, I don't know. I like human death theory as well. I think that'd be kind of cool, and I think it'd be a nice fitting thing. Um, if you're playing Deltarune, you'll get beaten up by 𝐵𝐵𝐴. Shucks. Hold on, that's me. Wait, who are you talking about? Who are you talking to me or are you talking to someone else? If you're playing Deltarune, you'll get beaten. Oh, that's when I mentioned like, my friend's playing Deltarune. Yeah, man, you playing Deltarune before me, huh? If I catch any of y'all on Deltarune, uh, in the coming days, you guys better wait for me. Okay, I have to wait. I have to wait 2 whole days to play Deltarune, which honestly, in a way, is kind of a good thing. Because that means that I can get Mike to. I'm pretty sure he'll play it before me, and I'll make sure he doesn't spoil me. And I'll have him like, maybe I'm like basically doing like some sword root shit, and he can hopefully guide me. Let's hope he doesn't spoil me or nothing. Pile of sands is my new favorite sentence. Yeah, no, the pile of sand, the pile of sand's a pile of snow that says sands on it is probably in ketchup. I don't know what else would be red. Is did he like cut his finger? Did he bleed on the thing? Speaking of, I don't think Susie is half human. I think that Deltarune monsters just bleed. I think they just bleed. I think they turn into dust, but I think they straight up bleed. And it would make a lot of sense because that would mean that Sans also bleeds and that he came from Undertale. It makes the most sense, and I don't really get why we're having a conversation about that. I think Deltarune 5 will end in the Roaring, maybe. Yeah, no, I've talked about that. I think that could also be a big possibility. I'm probably gonna put that on the bingo board. Knight's Liquid is Snot. It might be Snot. It could also be Tears. Um, what the Fallen Star, again, like I said earlier, the whole star, what the Fallen Star. But I've also now seen, since people think that it's a drowning thing, I haven't watched any of the drowning theories yet, but now that I'm looking at it, when you get out of the water and like your face is dripping water, obviously, right? If being in darkness is like being submerged underwater, and the whole Ocean.OGG thing and the prophecy is literally the surface of water, who's to say that, you know, being engulfed in that darkness and then being taken out of it immediately is almost like being pulled out of water? Now, you may say, oh, but then, wouldn't the knight be like fully drenched in water? What if only their mind was in that space? Almost like if they were lost in the code. Almost like if Dess's mind was somewhere different than their body. I think that could also be something like that. Lancer's the knight, god damn it. Anna, how many people are here? 7? Yeah, man. Honestly, I'm not stressing about Undyne. I know they said they were gonna like sacrifice her next week or whatever. We don't have till next week, girl. Okay? We're gonna we're getting Undyne out of there. I wonder if we're even gonna see Undyne next chapter, or if we're gonna wait for the bunker chapter, which I presume to be chapter 6. Um, that's also to say, does anybody think there is going to be a festival Dark World? I think a lot of people thought that Rudy was gonna die and then Noelle was gonna like create this dark fountain in the festival that would engulf all of Hometown. I don't think that's gonna happen. And if that does happen, that would have to happen at the end of the chapter on some roaring shit. That would have to like that would have to go crazy. And like I could definitely see something like that happening and then us running to the bunker for shelter, because Alphys does mention the bunker as like this like shelter, and then having the roaring be chapter 7 and having the bunker be chapter 6. Um, But then what is the kid in the apartment on about in chapter one? Deserve to be made out of blood. Well, first off, kids are dumb as shit. I think something you gotta know. That's also to say that I think it's also a kind of thing of like monsters aren't made of blood. Monsters are made of like dust and stuff and everything like that. Monsters are made of like the magic. I just think that monsters in Deltarune bleed. Um, but I think when they die, they still turn to dust. You know, Gerson still is a dustner. He still has the dust. I don't think he was just cremated. I don't think his body was just there. And while there are graves for all the amalgamates, um, it seems like their dust is buried with, with the item that would technically make them a Darkner that was cherished to them. Um, Shadows and darkness, water are correlated in Deltarune. That is true. Oh, May don't kill me for this, but I'm a hop on Deltarune. Do you have any words of encouragement for the Jebel fight? Um, defend on first. Defend on first. You gotta defend on first attack. Uh, the what is it called? The spin attack. That's not random. You can look up guides for what they are. It'll tell you when to use them so you can get max heals. Um, I don't know, man. Good luck, dude. I beat Jevil, but Jevil was low-key hard. Spam to Neo was like way easy, but that's probably because I was like beating the shit out of the knight, and then I went to go beat Spam to Neo. Um, that's to say, I also feel like you need all the shadow crystals for the next stuff because Seam or Sham or whatever, they seem to like be like, oh, we're gonna make the Twisted Blade, dog. Oh, we're gonna do that shit. We're about to make the Twisted Blade. We're about to go crazy. Um, and all that stuff. So I don't know, dog. I don't know. That also assumes though, is there any other ways to get shadow crystals? In Deltarune, in the main menu, there are like 3 rows of things. And you could say, oh, there's only 4 shadow crystals, and then there's like 2 rows of other items that would be important, which you could assume would be a dark shard, right? And then there's like a third thing that we need to get, which that could be it. Or is there just like straight up a bunch of shadow crystals? Because that wouldn't make sense. Because we don't have that much more time. Are we gonna show up to chapter 5 and like Asgore's just gonna hand us a handful of shadow crystals like, oh yeah, man, I've been holding on to these. Thank you, man. Um, Not me suspiciously downloading Deltarune Chapter 5. I won't spoil, I swear, twin. Michael, you better not fucking spoil shit, you little fucker. Okay? I'm gonna be asking you. I'm gonna be asking you when I play it on Friday. I'm gonna be asking you for shit like do I need this? Do I need that? I will be completely off of uh the internet, dude. I'm not gonna be off of YouTube, but I might straight up switch my account to like a new account and just not even look at Deltarune's direction. Um, and Azrael, he's coming, right? I wonder. I mentioned this earlier that like Azrael might show up for the festival, as a surprise to his parents, like quickly, which could be a way to bring in Azrael into the story like earlier than you would think. Because I feel like Azrael coming home isn't as big as as you know as the game might have made it seem, or maybe it is really big, and that will be a turning point. But I kind of feel like there's been a lot of emphasis on Azrael coming home, and it doesn't feel like a big thing in the same way that the Knight's like identity is. Which even then, I don't even know if the Knight's identity is necessarily the biggest thing. Um, Obviously, if it's Carol, if it's Rudy, if it's Azrael. First off, if it's Azrael, how the fuck is it Azrael? Secondly, if it's Rudy or uh the mayor, if it's Carol, that just kind of makes their already existing motives bigger. I feel like if it's Des, then it makes more sense. Or if it's kind of like in the same sense of like, oh, what does Ralph say as a Darkner? Is he the Horn Headband? Is he, Chris's persona? Like, what is he? Um, and I kind of think that I I watched this one theory of that him and Iram almost like brothers and having like both fire magic and having like, being able to fly and travel across the dark worlds and all that stuff. And that they might be related and that, in the same way that maybe friend is like an imaginary friend or that nightmare is literally like, a nightmare. The whole idea of burning eyes, icy, the Titans being the bump in the night and literally the fear of the dark. Uh, Having Rousey be a sort of a concept darkener is something that I agree with a lot. And I kind of like don't know if he will be revealed to be an item. Uh, and I don't know if it will even be the horned headband. I know some people say, oh, it might be Chris's knife. But like, why would Rousey be Chris's knife? I mean, I guess it would make sense that his fucking scarf, attacks people. How is he even doing that? How is he attacking people with his scarf, dude? That scarf got to be dense. Um, uh, what the light world is the true dark world, and we got flip-flopped. That'd be kind of crazy, but I think that also like be maybe a little too crazy. I don't know how that would be written. Though I will say the idea of device theory is very true in the same way that like some people say that like device theory is almost like a 𝐻𝐼𝐸𝐽 of Deltarune, in the sense that like the kind of layers of reality and there being higher layers of Gaster and of us, and the whole like device thing honestly makes a lot of sense, and I kind of see that as already semi-canon in the same way that I see 𝐻𝐼𝐸𝐽 as basically canon, um, and that's to assume that like you know, I wouldn't be surprised if hometown is almost like kind of a fake town in the same sense that like those like liminal spaces where it's like there's a fake sky, it's like a fake town and like you go out of bounds or some shit and that would be like something like that. I could see something like that. Also, I don't think we've talked about it too much, but answer the lake. Ding, ding, ding. You only get to see her once more, and then you'll move on. I can see this as several things, as in wanting to see Death just one more time, wanting to have closure, but also with Noelle, right? This is all about Noelle and like what made her smile, and you only need to see her once more, and then you'll move on. I think that might also mean that we will transfer our power to Noelle, and that Chris will stop being our vessel. I can definitely see that happening. We already saw it in the weird route that it seems like we're transferring our soul into Noelle, and if that does happen, and the end of the weird route, or hell, even the start of the end of the weird route is us taking control, taking root in Noelle, um, then that might be it. Speaking of, I have a video of uh of all of the Chapter 5 thank you RG responses. Uh, I won't be showing them in image because this isn't my video, and uh, I'm not trying to show someone else's video. Here, let me drink some water. I've been talking for a long time. And we haven't even we haven't even gone to bingo, but the theories help with bingo to find out like what's necessarily important. Um, oh, you meant the other shadow crystals, not just the way to get them. My bad. No, it's good. Well, in Castle Down, you lift the cliff, you descend into chapter 1, you get the crystals, and you do other saves and miss a particular save. What's the point of that? Ha. I got you too, don't worry about it. Do not worry, Mike. Um, 1 hour for Deltarune tomorrow. I'm so fucking scared. It is technically already Deltarune tomorrow. A minute just passed, it's already midnight. It is technically the day of Deltarune. Oh, it's such a glorious day. Oh, it's such a glorious day. I can't believe it's Saturday. We can watch it all TV. We can watch it all be free. I'm a guest, a royal scientist. Speaking of guys, happy birthday, or I guess happy late birthday to Sonic and Eggman. That's right, guys. I was a Sonic fan the whole time. Fucking love Sonic. I fucking love Sonic, dude. Um, I I think I haven't. I've been so enveloped in Deltarune, obviously, that I haven't fully been able to articulate the stuff with Sonic. But dude, the fact that like I love Sonic so much and I love Deltarune so much, and they're fucking they're dogpiling me. They're beating the shit out of me. They're well, Sonic hasn't given us some crazy thing. We got Definitive Edition for Nintendo Switch 2, which is basically just putting it on Nintendo Switch 2, which I'm not buying a Nintendo Switch 2, so I don't really care. I already own the game. I already mod it. I don't care. Um, but was it the new characters for Crossworlds are pretty cool. I mean, they're not anything like super crazy, but it's pretty cool. Um, Undertale in 11 hours. Well, if it was 11 months, 11 years, 11 days, 11 hours, Deltarune is waiting. If it was 7 months, if it was 2 days, Deltarune is waiting. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. I'm fucking pissed. I'm fucking pissed. Don't let me wait, bro. Don't let me wait. I'm fucking excited. Don't let me wait. Don't let me wait, bro. Uh, if Ralsei was a concept director, I think he would be Chris missing Azrael. I think that's kind of what we all assumed at the start. And while I don't think that's wrong, um, I don't know if I don't know if it's that simple. I feel like it would also be other things, like the stuff with like everyone talking about like, oh, what if it's Chris's persona because they like wanted to be a monster and stuff. Which I think human Des really envelops that as well because like if Des was human as well, it would make sense just on a basic level why Chris would admire them just so much more. Um, Deltarune today, Deltarune today, dude, Deltarune today, and happy 35th to Sonic and Eggman. That's right. Everyone says happy birthday to Sonic, but no one be saying happy birthday to Eggman. I know you don't really like birthdays, but fuck that shit. Happy birthday, Eggman. And happy birthday, Sonic LRP. Also, the art that they put out for for it is awesome too, because it's classic Sonic. Dude, I love classic. It's awesome. But anyway, let's look at these. Let's look at this stuff for the thank you ARG. Well, technically, this is the second round of thank you ARG. There was already an existing thank you ARG that happened, but then they were like, "We're going for round two because you didn't get it the first time." I'm surprised we got at the very end, or did someone just find it, or was it just like shown off? I don't know. Happy birthday, Eggman. Big shot theory. Spamton is solo Zenite. I don't think he does that. Anyway, you answered the festival. That's what you want, isn't it? Candy apples, square dancing. That's what it's all for. Well, it was always going to be this way. The only people that walk this path are those who have their face so close to the road that they can't see where they're going. But well, if you're lucky, maybe there's a chance you'll still get lost along the way. Now, this message about the festival tackles several things, which is why they're kind of dotted like by themselves. The first section is this is what you want, isn't it? This is what it's all for, the candy apples, the square dancing. Second section um, is that it was always going to be. Sorry, my headphones disconnected. Um, but anyway, hold on. Can y'all hear me? Let me check my OBS. Okay, I'm good. Um, Bro cut himself off. Actually, it's herself, but yes, they got her. Exactly local. Um, well, it's always going to be this way. The only people that walk this path are those who have their face so close to the road that they don't see where they're going. Which, in a weird way, I could see as like a thing of like Bergen truck, you know? I know that's kind of a joke, but I could definitely see the whole like truck thing and like running over deaths. I know it definitely wouldn't be like a running over deaths, running over the deer situation, but the idea of like, um, are those who, what was it? The only people that walk this path, which remind me of in Undertale, where it was, you know, the whole thing of like, uh, the foolish and the smart both walk the middle road, like none of them diverge from the road, and the whole idea of the prophecy and don't diverge from the prophecy. Um, but the only people that walk this path are those who have their face so close to the road that they can't see where they're going. Their face is so close to the road that they can't see where they're going. I feel like that reminds me of Bergen Trek. Gotta go, but I'll see you around. Happy Deltarune, everyone. Have a good one. Bye, Mike. Trek, you say? Yes, Mike. I'm happy. I'm happy you got to. I'm happy you got to see that before you left, Michael. Anyway, but well, if they're lucky, maybe there's a chance you can still get along. You'll still get lost along the way. If you answer shelter, it says, "Is that what you're really hoping for?" Question mark. Um, whether obviously this question is where will it take place, right? Because the whole idea of like, when will she smile, of kind of like Snowgrave, where will this like ending take place? Obviously, it will be at the lake, and we already established the whole lake thing and everything. But when it comes to the festival, the whole thing of, oh, this is what it was all for, and everyone being like, Curdly, I can't wait to go to the festival. It's gonna be so cute. And our only image of hometown in the festival is that outside of, you know, this very dark image of Gris, which is assumedly near the lake. So the bunker or the shelter being, is that what you're really hoping for? Like, would you really want, you know, Snowgrave to end in the bunker? Would you really want that? You answered a place foretold exactly by the prophecy. You know you have more, you have to be more specific than that. Um, which is obviously that, like, of course, all of this is technically foretold by the prophecy, so you'd have to be more specific. The answer is the roaring, or you answer the roaring, and they say not at all. So I want to actually screenshot this. You answer the roaring not at all. Um, I want to screenshot this specifically just because. What do you mean not at all? That's a very direct thing. So the idea that Snowgrave will not happen at the roaring not at all is to assume that the roaring will not be the end of Snowgrave's chapter. So if the roaring does happen at the end of the chapter, it will only happen in the main route. So you answer the roaring not at all, or that maybe is where the ending of Snowgrave will take place. You answered at the graveyard. I get it. If you hit the grave, you might reveal a secret staircase, and then gripping the edge of the coffin, maybe not. At least you came up with something interesting. There's several of these where it's kind of this hypothetical idea of what could this have been, and actually maybe not. At least you thought of something interesting. And even the I get it gets repeated a lot. Um, Now I don't know about the secret staircase, but in the chapter 3 mini games, especially when it came to the Spamton email room, there is kind of like a rock, and under the rock is like a staircase or anything like that, and that's very typical of those types of things. I mean, I'm even thinking of like the oldest fuel cane pixels, you know. You answered 5. It's where, not when. Try to keep up. Now, I want to actually screenshot this for several reasons. This will actually be important in multiple reasons that I was thinking about. So this wording right here, it's where, not when. Try to keep up, is specific because it happens several times. Um, it happens. I think it happens. when it comes to the number 5, right? So the number 5 is assumedly chapter 5, right? So it is where, not when. So obviously this will happen in chapter 5, which we already knew, but it's good to have confirmation on. That's 2 now, goddammit. Hey, it's me, Mike from Deltarune. I'm walking here. Okay, goodbye. Bye, Mike. You answered hospital. I get it. She feels like she's under the weather and the whole thing is called off. Maybe not. Now, who in the hospital would say she feels under the weather and would call the whole thing off? Maybe not. Um, I think obviously you could say that's Noelle, right? Call it off. Uh, and it's Noelle that would call off the whole thing and her ties to the hospital because of Rudy. But when I remember calling things off, I think about Toriel and how she called off church choir practice because of the rain. And would Noelle even have authority to quote unquote call whatever they're calling off is? What is she calling off? Is she calling off the deal from Snowgrave, right? Speaking of, what is Chris's deal? Not just what is Chris's deal, but what is Chris's promise? What did they promise to the mayor? And why is Noelle, quote unquote, happy or excited to see Chris at the festival tomorrow? Because I don't think we're even mentioning that. Is that, yeah, we're all excited for Curly on the festival, but what about the weird route, right? Apparently, Noelle is going to be there for the festival and is seemingly going to be joining us at the festival. And the mayor is okay with this, not seemingly endorsing it, which would kind of presume that she knows about Snowgrave and she knows what's going on, and she obviously seems to know about the soul, which is why I kind of seem to think that, the mayor is almost a bigger villain than any of these seemingly malicious characters. Not that she's inherently evil, because most, if not all, Toby Fox characters are all pretty well round, if not explicitly stated to be evil, like a Titan, who isn't necessarily all evil, but mostly animalistic. It's nice looking 5. Thank you, thank you. I love my nice looking 5. Uh, but when I think of canceling it because of the hospital, I think about Noelle canceling doing Snowgrave. But the thing is will she even have the autonomy to do that at that point, right? Because seemingly Chapter 4 was our way out of the Snowgrave route, which even then we still hurt Birdly a lot. Is he gonna show up with a damaged wing to the festival, right? Um, and obviously, like, is this gonna be kind of one of those? You know how like we had the soulless pacifist route in Undertale? Is it gonna kind of be like a your choices still happened, but the ending stayed the same type deal with the weird route when it comes to abandoning it at chapter 4? Maybe. Um, You answered Fields. I had some bad news for you. Wait, no, you'll figure it out yourself. What does that mean? Because the only fields that we know of right now are the fields of hopes and dreams and the fields of sorry, and the fields of pink and sorry. I gotta drink water. Dude. Oh my god. I tried to say pink and gold and friend killed me. What the hell is that? Local, please don't do that. I thought we were friends. I thought you were my image friend. You can't do that. What the hell, dude? You can't do that. Um, but so the idea is that the fields are only hopes and dreams field or pink and gold fields, which we obviously know will probably be pink and gold. So if you answered fields, I have some bad news for you. No, you'll figure it out yourself. But seemingly, unless we're talking about the whole idea of the fields going on fire, the only field I can kind of think about is maybe this one, you know? Like it does look like a sunset, but it also kind of looks like it's on fire. I mean, obviously it's being basked in the sun, but you get what I'm saying, right? So if the lake is near the fields or near the forests or, where the forest would grow, those poor children, um, then it might it might have something to do with that. You answered flower shop. I have some bad news for you. No, you'll figure it out yourself. So this kind of ties into the one I already said about the fields. So if anything, the whole idea of I'll have some bad news for you. No, you'll figure it out yourself. I could definitely see the flower shop getting charred or the flower shop burning up in some sort of way, which would be, that would suck for Asgore because obviously Asgore was already like on the verge of homelessness. He's already, running a failing flower business. He's being like kind to everyone and like giving them flowers and stuff and blah blah blah. And he's dealing with his divorce and he's like the maid for the holidays and he's dealing with the stuff about December. And he used to be police chief. And now his flower shop gets burnt down after he just had a dark world experience where he's probably king and he's probably having a good time. So that sucks for Asgore as well. But I do believe in Asgore aura. I do think he will bring off the aura of the king, even for a little bit. Um, Girl drink water. Underrated, but damn, they buffed metal's slipperiness. Metal? Like Sonic? Like Metal Sonic? Like, are you talking about Crossworlds? Did they do that? Unrelated, but they buffed metal slipperiness. I'm assuming you're talking about Crossworlds. You answered Roots. Roots? What do you think she's gonna do? Eat carrots or something? So obviously Roots is tied to, bit roots and everything else and all that stuff and Roots theory. Um, but this is seemingly denouncing Roots. Roots, what do you think she's gonna eat carrots or something? Um, and so I do think that the whole thing is that the culmination of all this is at the lake, and that you know all this other stuff won't necessarily, not that it won't matter, but that it won't be as big as a focus because it seems like Weird Root has kind of been honestly ever since chapter 2 has kind of seemed like a back burner thing it's obviously not as big as something like the genocide route was in Undertale was because it's not that, and it's technically not what it's trying to go for. But if the whole raid route is basically either trying to do the original prophecy in the same way that, Tenno is trying to do the original game, and then Ram tries to get you to do the or that Ram is well, it's more like Ram was trying to give you the original game, and Tenno was trying to cover it up with this like, nicer version. And in the same way, the weird route might be, like I said earlier, with the colors, might end up being like the original, girl crossed on her heart, the girl will find love, as in like the soul, um, and not as in us and Noelle, girls. I mean more like that the soul will control Noel uh in the weird route, and that will be the original prophecy or whatever, and that breaking the prophecy is the original route because while we did get stuff about going to the weird route, it'd be kind of weird and anticlimactic as someone who wouldn't know stuff about Deltarune if Deltarune ended with the prophecy and this like bleak ending and all this stuff with no way of you know getting you to a better ending. It's almost like if True Pacifist didn't happen and you played neutral and then nothing else happened and they didn't like try to, you know, get you from pacifist to true pacifist. Um, Outcome Memories. Oh, Outcome Memories. Yeah, I played Outcome Memories with my friends, um, especially Michael. He plays metal sometimes. I actually play Blaze a fair bit. Blaze is pretty cool. You enter the skeleton's room. No way, have you seen that guy? I have not, actually. Unless you're talking about Sans. Speaking of, did Sans clean Toriel's pipes? Like, as in her house pipes? Because seemingly, between chapters, like, between, like, when you show up and Sans is there and everything, apparently the pipes get cleaned. And, he put ketchup in our fridge, so I think he, like, straight up clean the house and everything. And obviously, like, that can mean other things, but like, bruh, Sans, like, I don't think you guys are understanding. Deltarune Chapter 5 could literally start with Sans waking us up and being like, "Hey kid, Tori, your mom wanted to tell me to get you up for school for the festival, you know." Dude, I could stepdad Sans, bro. Insane. Imagine Torio like has him babysitting Chris, and Chris is like forced to take him along onto the dark world with the Flower King. Is the Rizzler, Sans is Rizzler. Sans, I can't believe you, man. But anyway, have you seen that guy? Uh, could that be Papyrus? I do believe that Papyrus might show up. You answered shelter? Shelter? Question mark? It's just shelter, like spelt wrong. You answered the place where it snowed instead of the place where it rained. You answered the place where it snowed. Um, and the reply is, you know that isn't till later. Toby, what do you mean that isn't till later? You know that that isn't till later. So I actually want to bring this in to the board because what do you mean, Toby? Toby, what are you fucking talking about, dude? The place where it snowed, not the place where it rained, the place where it snowed. You know that doesn't happen until later. Toby, I'm gonna kill you, bro. What the fuck does that mean? Does that mean there's gonna be a bigger snow grave, quote unquote, ending of snow grave? In fact, if it's happening at the lake, and we already talked about the idea of the lake and everything, you could have the lake freeze over. Could you have the lake freeze over and walk across it and get out of borders of hometown? I wonder. The place where it's new. It's like it's like she's some sort of queen of Snowgrave. You answered in my embrace, gross. You answered with me, gross. You answered where she met me, gross. Which I think that is very much Toby saying like, hey, you know, the idea of like connection with you, Noah, like that is gross. And even the even the sense of like back when chapter 4 read route came out and Noelle getting I guess you could say like imprinted with the soul was shown with a rose was immediately changed to just a pixel. Who knew the dead pixel was evil, dude? Um, that was definitely shown off just because like a lot of people misinterpreted it as a representation of sexual assault, and Toby was like, no, that's obviously not what it is. But like, I also can see how people thought that, especially considering there's like a lot of stuff in media of the idea of like deflowering and everything. Hell, when it comes to Adventure Time, my friend even mentioned this of like the flower on Finn's arm losing its petals after that one Lumpy Space Princess episode. So shout out to Limeboy. Shout out to Limeboy. Um, you answered where the forest would grow. There are trees, sure, but that could be anywhere. Um, so I don't think that's like ruling out the idea that it is in the forest where the forest would grow, but it is showing that it is the lake specifically in the pathway. So it's not that there won't be that. Also, also, Toby, what do you mean by this? Hold on, let's put this on the corkboard as well. Toby, what do you mean by this, dog? Yo, big dog. Yo, big dog, what does this mean, buddy? Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. What does this mean, dude? You're too late? Too late? Too late for what, dog? They're gonna kill off Susie. Dude, they're gonna kill off Susie. Hold on. Dude. Dude, I can't believe Susie was cleaved red with blade. Susie, no! Susie was cleaved red with the blade. What do you mean with Susie too late? Um, Seemingly with the thing of like where does it happen? and this is about Noel and the weird root. So with Susie too late, I think that just means that, you're basically too late to stop the weird root. If you're going into chapter 5, you already cemented that you are going into the weird root. Um, that chapter 4 was your way out, and you know that's it. You're too late. Answered in Toby's house. Should I be concerned? You should be, Toby. You answered the Dield of pink and gold instead of field. Dield? Question mark. You answered tomorrow, not where. It's where, not when. Keep it. Try to keep up. Which I mentioned this again. It is tomorrow, or quote unquote today, right? So that's a deltoid tomorrow specific. Let's also add that here. I hope my dear friend isn't dying to Jevil right now. I wonder what he's doing. Ah! Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! Ah! Ah! Oh, I sure hope he's okay. Anyway, um, so yeah, not where, not when is tomorrow. So I wanna also bring that up. And there's also another one, which is where the final tragedy is unveiled, or when the final tragedy is unveiled. And this is not where, but when. So I also want to add that of this kind of like final tragedy. I think that might be all of the ones that are like not where, not when. Um, but when you answer on the Ferris wheel, it says you want to see them together so badly, but you see those red eyes dance. Even so, it's wrong. Everything about this is wrong. But what's good, uh, but what good is it for me to say the heart does what it does, so don't worry, you'll make it. You always do, don't you? Um, and I think the Ferris wheel thing is definitely like about, obviously you would run to say like, oh Curdly, oh Suzelle, oh, all this stuff of like, what we want to see at the festival. And we want to see these like happy times and one last good adventure and everything. Um, but that's to say that it kind of seems like they're also showing off the festival as this like dark thing that could also spell doom. And if this is specifically about the weird root, then you saying, oh, you want to see them together so badly, you want to see those red eyes dance. And red eyes is seemingly tied to Chris. You want to see those red eyes dance. Or it could be tied to Noel. Maybe the red eyes are tied to the soul specifically. Uh, Even though, are they? Because Chris at the start or at the end of chapter 1 has red eyes despite the soul getting out of them. Now, that could be a remnant, or it could be that their eyes are literally red. That would turn into a whole other like Frisk and Kara red eyes situation again, so I'm not gonna do that. But I mean, hey, maybe Noelle's eyes could turn red um, if she becomes a vessel. Even so, it's wrong. Everything about it is wrong. But what good is it for me to say the heart does what it does, so don't worry, you'll make it, you always do, don't you? So if this is about Snowgrave, my best guess is you want to see those red eyes dance is related to Chris and Noelle, and even so, it's wrong. Everything about it is wrong, but what good is it for me to say the heart does what it does? Which is basically saying that, like, it doesn't matter what this guy's saying. It doesn't matter if this is, Gas or Toby or whatever. It doesn't matter what this guy's saying. The heart's gonna do what it's gonna do, and you know, the players are gonna do whatever they're gonna do if they're given the chance to do so, like I was mentioning earlier. So don't worry, you'll make it through. You always do, don't you? And I'll actually, let me copy these. Actually, I'll put these in the thing. But yeah, so that's kind of my small prediction for that. I kind of want to do, I'm obviously gonna do like my own bingo board for when I do Snowgrave. Um, the bingo board I'm doing now isn't based on it's based on the normal route. It's not based on Snowgrave. Hard hits what it does, so don't worry, you'll make it. You always do, don't you? And I don't know if that tongue-in-cheek line about like you make it, you always do is necessarily referential to um to you specifically. Make hell, it even being on Susie is kind of free. The fact that it's not on the Noel or the Chris, which is what you would assume, which I've seen other people say like, oh, what if Susie gets controlled by the soul, and then Susie just like demands us do stuff for her instead of us do stuff for her, or we do stuff for her. Um, this place where it's new. Hello there, hi. As a fellow Deltarune enjoyer, I came here to warn you though. The newsletter came out, and with it, the soundtrack for Chapter 5. So be careful with spoiling out everyone. Oh, damn, damn. Well, thank you about that. Does that mean I can even check out the newsletter? Or yeah, I know he said that the newsletter would come out when it came to the thing. So I don't know. I don't know. Um, damn. Okay. Let's finish the theory board and get to it. You entered the forest. There will be trees there, but that could be anywhere. That's already one of them. You answered Happy Town. Aw. What does aw mean? Like as in aw, as in like aw. You wish. You entered at World's Edge. You didn't learn anything from last time. I wonder what this means. I don't actually have any theory about it, but I do wonder what it means. Of you answered at World's Edge. You didn't learn anything from last time. And last time seemingly might be like the last time they did this ARG, but you didn't learn anything from last time is, I guess, to say that, at World's Edge would be to banish the angels heaven, right? And if Noel or if we or anything is the angel, then to meet at World's Edge doesn't make sense, especially for now. While I do think that Chapter 5 and the Snowgrave Route and everything is meant to be some sort of end, and this is all meant to be some sort of end, I do not think that the game will basically end here, and then chapters 6 and 7 will basically be like, ooh, secret chapters, secret new chapters. Because if that was true, then it wouldn't have shown, Toby wouldn't have mentioned 7 chapters, and we wouldn't have literally a thing that says 7 chapters. We would have 5 chapters, and we would have Toby never address if there was more chapters than 5 chapters. Um, if that's what he wanted to play at, I think. Um, I mean, even so, you could have a thing where like, oh, when Deltarune fully comes out, you have it so that only 5 chapters show up until you get to that point. But I don't know why they would do that either. Jevil, dude, Jevil is playing Deltarune right now. I'm seeing Jevil on hop on Deltarune right now. I just saw Jevil hop on Deltarune. I'm putting this on the corkboard too. I saw the Roaring Knight playing Undertale recently, and I saw Jevil playing fucking. Now Jevil is playing Deltarune. I can't believe this shit. The shit I gotta deal with in here. The shit I gotta deal with, you guys. I can't yell like I would love to, but it's like a. It's like, Gaster, get the fuck out of my stream. Get the fuck out of my stream, Gaster. Um, you answered her room. Wouldn't you want it to be someplace different? Her room would seemingly be Noelle's room, but you could also say that that would be Dessa's room, since we did mention the whole thing of Dessa's room, what do you want to be somewhere different? Beyond the setting sun, couldn't you pick somewhere more local? So Beyond the Setting Sun kind of makes me not only think of the new chapter, but also think about hometown and the sunset within hometown, and making me think of like somewhere more local. Do you think the sun and its skybox is so far away that like again, hometown might straight up be a map, like meta wise? You answered who's asking. Try and answer. You answered next to the love, gross. You answered QC's diner. I get it. I get it. Noelle cooked some dough, and they're sitting together, chewing silently without a word passing between them. Maybe not, but at least it's something you came up with that was interesting. Inside her soul, would they fit in there? What do you mean, would they fit in there? As in, would you fit in there? Or would they, as in Chris? Or would they, as in, because the whole thing is, where would it take place in her soul? Uh, would it fit in there? Would the lake fit in there, do you mean? Um, I'll take it since it's seemingly the last one that we have. So this is the last part of it, but if where not when is not necessarily saying like it's not that that's not going to happen, that's just when it's going to happen. So when is it going to happen? It's going to happen on 5, which is chapter 5 tomorrow, which is obviously today, and final prophecy panel. So is that to say that the final prophecy panel has something to do with the ending of Snowgrave and the lake? That could be that. I don't know. But if so, it would definitely tie into we have the trees, we have the lake that might pertain to deaths. Um, just draw Caesarea. Um, but also Noel. Oh, Javel is still playing Deltarune, bro. He's trying his best. Um, and obviously with Chris and the soul. So anyway, I think from what we've seen here, the whole ideas of Snowgrave is that whatever will happen somewhere in hometown near a lake, and it will have to do with um, Noel and the lake and Des and the prophecy. Um, Alongside that, I think that we could have a chapter in Des's room, but I don't fully believe that. But Des's room seems like it's primed for a dark world. It literally looks like um, the ocean.ogg, you know? And the whole lake thing being the ice and fire, like we spoke earlier, and the mantle minigames representing all of hometown. Um, and alongside that, the angel's weapons being Azrael's, or that Azrael is calling upon the angel's weapons because he has that type of power now. And who is fighting us here? I don't know. I feel like there was the idea that that Rousey's like hit bar is like was like cut off, and therefore this was edited to take the enemy out of the picture, right? Um, but I don't think so. Or at least I mean I don't know. I can't fully say anything. Um, but I don't think this is a doctored image. I do think I don't know why do we say doctored? Doctored? Why doctored? But I don't think this is a doctored image. Chapter 5 is fighting us. No! Chapter 5 is waiting. Um, but I don't think that it is specifically that. Hapter 5 over here is trying to kill us and stuff. And if anything, this is more stuff for, Chris being the patient soul, or like, why is Chris blue? And all that stuff. I won't get into all of that as well, but that's also something that we could do. Anyway, hold on, let me actually let me create a folder, get all of this. These are my kind of small predictions for a for a bingo sheet. Um, and I'm probably going to finish the bingo sheet and have it ready for everything else later. But this is just like a very basic bingo sheet that I thought of. So, Sans, right? Obviously, Sans being in the chapter, no shit, he's right there. But I mean that Sans has a prominent role. Friend with Asgore, I think that we can also have Asgore and Friend tied together. I think that could work. The souls being represented by the flowers. I think that's already happening when it comes to the Seven Sun Souls theory. Um, and like, the sunset of the seven souls or whatever. Um, the final prophecy panel. Will we see the final prophecy panel this chapter? I don't think so, but I don't think it's a bad thing to have. Fire in the dark world, I think might actually happen. Curdly festival, this might change, but you know, can't ever rule it out. 𝛚 focus, as in a 𝛚 focus chapter, which I believe that is true. Friend inside me, because somehow Friend inside me has survived all all of these fucking things. Chess theory didn't survive, right? None of that. Uh, I don't even think third talker or third soul theory or whatever exists anymore. But Friend inside me has somehow stayed relevant. You know, Toy Story 5 is coming out at the same time. And Toby Fox is like, oh, thanks for working on it with us and everything like that. Toby, what the fuck does that mean, buddy? Friend inside me might straight up show up in this chapter, and I'm having bro on the bingo board. Papyrus, and Rudy. Now, these don't necessarily have much tie to them, but Papyrus showing up in any form, I count that as that. And Rudy getting more focus, especially considering his night antics. I wonder if that is true, since everyone has kind of put all this emphasis on Rudy, and Rudy being the knight and all this stuff. But from what we know, Rudy hasn't even done that much. Dude, I care about Friend Inside Me now. I love Friend Inside Me. Hell yeah. I remember when Friend Inside Me was something I had to draw for the paint thing that I did on that first newsletter stream. Um, Reveal, as in the reveal of the knight's face. I put ERAM here because, as I said, that kind of like theory of ERAM being the head. I don't fully believe that, but I think it'd be kind of cool. Open, as in opening the shelter or getting all the bunker codes. 𝐻, as in just more stuff about 𝐻, getting any 𝐻 lore or anything. The roaring, obviously, if the roaring ends in this chapter. Now, this is a very bare bones idea of what I would want the bingo to be. I'm gonna obviously update it later on. But do we have any ideas before we go into the newsletter about the bingo? Or should we just hop straight to the newsletter and then finish the bingo at the end here? I also remember that was cool. I know, right? Pretty sure that was the first time uh, for most of these things. That's kind of what kicked us all off. Let me let me get the let me get the newsletter while we're just sitting here thinking about stuff for the bingo. Oh my god, dude, there's art. There's art on the bingo. That's so cool. Hold on. Or not art on the bingo, art on the newsletter. forgot. How do you like separate the oh, my friend's playing bingo again. Or not bingo. Is playing the thing again. Water. Water. That's your only theory. Good job. Asriel shows up early for festival, perhaps. I actually might add that, yeah. Um, hold on. Mike, my board. Thank you, Mike. I thought my theory was good. Your theory is amazing. Here is the fucking release newsletter, dude. This looks awesome. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this beautiful art. Thank you, Temmie. You always grace us. This is beautiful. They're running up to the sunset. This is kind of making me think more of the This is making me think more of the trapped in asylum son thing about Asgore. And also look, there's flowers down here and all the different and oh dude, all the different types of flowers up here too. Oh my god. I'm gonna be so fucking red about all of this. Oh my god, I'm cooking. I thought my theory was good, onion sand. Yeah, we already talked about onion sand and the stuff about the water. If you open a dark world in your room, what would be the final boss? Um, hmm, that's a good question. Cause okay, what would be the final boss or what would be the secret boss? Because I think the final boss would be more like what would be the antagonist of my dark world. What would be, the person running my dark world? And I kind of wonder if the person running my dark world kind of changes because surprisingly, I have been someone like very emotional about my plushies and about my like items before Deltarune even started. And it felt like Darkness was just like a way to preserve that type of feeling. I think it's because, funnily enough, Toy Story got me to think that like all my toys will definitely feel sad if like I don't all kiss them, or like what if I kiss one of them too much and like oh no, now one of them's like cocky and like they're all hating on each other and everything, right? So I got like weirdly you know scared about that as a kid, and I still kind of am. I still say thank you to my printer. Your photos of Mike's Roblox character. No, I uh, I have those like in a file somewhere. It's not the final boss. Um, secret boss. Oh, okay. I was gonna say though, if it was gonna be like a king type of situation, if it was gonna be like a normal boss, it might change because it would assume that like the one that I use the most, or the one that I like go to sleep with, or something like that, right? That technically changes. Now while I don't like throw away my plushies or anything, I end up, you know, being around one of them slightly more every now and then, and they're kind of rotating. So I kind of assume that like I feel like they're fighting. They're fighting for the power of the crown. Um, and the secret boss, I could say would be like one this like old teddy bear I had that was like really small that I named Angel. Angel, like Delta and Angel. Um, that could be that. But the thing is, Angel was loved. Like Angel wasn't forgotten. It's not any of that. So honestly, it'd be hard to say what the secret boss is because the secret boss would have to be something forgotten. And or not necessarily has to be something forgotten, but you get what I mean. Usually the secret bosses are something that is forgotten, like Javelin Spamton. So anyway, not they're the secret boss. Okay, good to know. I guess Rox already knows. Um, Dark Worlds full of plushies would be kind of peak. I know, right? Anyway, Chapter 5 newsletter, dude. It is crazy to think this. Like, there's gonna be a day where there's no more newsletters, where there's no more. I say this every time the newsletter happens. I get emotional or whatever every time one of these fuckers happen, but I just have to like I have to say it again. There's gonna be a time where we miss this. There's gonna be a time where this like constant updating, this beautiful art, the release of new newsletters and everything, it's gonna be done and gone. at some point. I'm sure all of this is gonna be, archived. I'm sure it already is, and all this stuff. But like, I don't know. The happiness of getting a new newsletter and everything. I wonder if there will be other games and other products and other things that try to do stuff like this. And honestly, I hope so because I need more of it. Like, Deltarune is the type of game that hasn't even ended, and every time a new chapter comes out and every time a new thing happens, it feels like the game ended and I have to be okay with that, and then it has to come back and all this stuff. And Deltarune for me is so emotionally tied. So it feels like the game is coming back and then ending again and then coming back and then ending again, you know? And so it's crazy to even see a new release. And it's also crazy for me to not be able to play it on release. You know how, dude, oh my God, bro. Whatever. I think waiting just a day or two more um will be way better in the long run. But god damn it, in the short run, right now, I need it now. I need the fucking chapter now. Deltarune Chapter 5 is almost out on PC and PlayStation. Check out Deltarune.com for more immediate release on the release. Yeah, no, dude, I'm there. I'm there. I'm watching. I'm waiting. Deltarune is waiting. I'm waiting. Oh my god, Tenna. If you bought the game, it'll be updated automatically. Oh, no. If the game crashes, the game releases a point where it's not possible for you to progress, email devfromfangamer.com to report any issues, and keep an eye out at the FAQ page for coming weeks, and we'll post you on. Jevil just fucking sent me an image, sent me a thing that said include me. I don't think you can see it on stream, but Jevil just messaged me include me. Include me on where? What are you talking about? Include you where, dude? I'm not getting on call with you. I'm about to this thing's about to end. I'm not getting a call with you, Jevil. I'm not getting a call with you, Jevil. Um, I think it's a good thing though, if I'm playing it a day or two later, that means that all the bugs will be all gone by the time I play. Oh, I'm Secret Boss at Chapter 5. No, the fuck you're not. Jevil's sending me messages like I'm Secret Boss at Chapter 5. No, the fuck you're not. Hold on. Hold on. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Let me get the. I can be anything. Good for you, buddy. Here's my window capture. Wait. Look at this fucker. Include me, I'm Secret Bus Driver. No, the fuck you're not. No, the fuck you're not. Hold on. We're putting you over here. Oh, hello. Don't say hello to the. It's me. I know it's you. I'm reading the newsletter now. Deltarune Centric. I don't recommend you look at the track names until you've completed the game, but this time many other people helped me out with the music, so make sure to check out the credits. Oh, that's cool. So it's not just a lot of him, it's everyone else too. As usual, thanks for your patience. I'm very proud of the team that we didn't have to make you guys wait super long. Otherwise, we would have really been sorry to keep you waiting. Well, Deltarune is waiting. Anyway, please enjoy this crazy thing I thought up 10 years ago. It's on the next chapter for us. It's on the next chapter for us. Ciao. Oh my god. I can't wait for Japanese chapter. Anyway, this isn't actually that long of a newsletter, but this art is beautiful, and he's fucking tempting me, man. He's tempting me. He's tempting me. No, I won't. He's tempting me. He's tempting me. He's tempting me. He's tempting me. Yeah, he's tempting me. He's tempting me with his fucking tricks. Art's okay. Shut the fuck up, Jevil. Just because you're not part of the art doesn't mean it's not peak. It's a great art. I will say this little petal coming out is kind of bothering me because like there's nothing over here. Wish I had more silliness. More. Okay. Good Good for you, Jebel. Anything. More anything. Okay. You're not going on the bingo board. You know that, right? You're not going on the bingo board. Ah! Anyway, um, let me check chat. Um, the Azrael shows up early thing. Please, no, you're not. No, I'm not. You'll, you'll never get bingo. That's not true. I'm gonna get bingo, dude. Okay. You gotta add me. I don't gotta add you for shit. I don't gotta add you. I don't gotta address anything. You need to win. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to do anything. The fuck? Bitches be like, I can do anything. SMH. Shake a motherfucking head. Anyway, um, you need to do everything. I mean, like, I guess I'll complete the chapters and stuff. Might get my board. Everything. Okay. This is why you don't bring an asylum man into a call with you. Foolish. Good to know. Um, anyway, it's bingo time. Uh, what else will we add? What else will we add? Uh, the Asriel thing. This is why your ass locked up. No, the fuck I'm not. You're the one that's locked up, not me though. Okay, sure, bro. Um, souls, friends, curly fire. Um, I feel like we can add Asriel here under Ralsei. We're gonna add Asriel here. He's blue. Actually, we'll keep the sub blue. It is definitely Asriel. Metaton Light World. That is true, especially if you give him Tenna. Asgore X rules. It's funny that that probably could happen, to be honest. Um. Anyway, um let me look at the thing. My final boss would be my PC. My secret boss would be my crusty NES. Don't call your NES crusty. Happy Father's Day. That was a that was a couple days ago. That was not. It is not Father's Day anymore. Jebel, you're I don't know, man. You're kind of late to that. Um, can't wait to open the soundtrack and see Delta in Chapter 5 OST 038. You got a friend in me. Spam to Neo. Spam to Neo what? Like as in put in spam to Neo as in a thing on the thing. Oh wait. Oh. Happy Father's Day still counts. Happy Pride Month. Two fathers kissing. Look it up. Um, Rules isn't a father. I mean, I guess he is. He's a lesser dad to Lancer. You could say that. So I guess you could say it's two fathers. You got a friend in me. Yeah, okay. Anyway, you know what? You know, Jeff, I'll send you something really cool. Mm, so cool. Tenna variant, maybe? That is actually true. Fuck yes! No, Tenna variant, there could be a Tenna variant because of his TV. He has got a rackety ass TV just in his room. So that there could be a thing. I've got nothing from this aside from Jello returning, which I desperately am coping. Yeah, I would like. Well, Jebel is in this fucking call right now, so so Jebel, I'm sure Jebel would like that as well. I'm sure Jebel would like me to acknowledge him, but I will not acknowledge him. I don't have to acknowledge. I'm not. I don't have to address him. Toby told me that I'm getting recast again. This is true. No, the fuck he did not tell you that. You're not getting recast. Anyway, um, �10 as Gore got a TV, yeah. Yeah, no, maybe. It could, I don't know. I feel like the �10 thing is cool, but I don't know if it's bingo worthy. I'm gonna check my notes of like the lore stuff I was doing as well and see what I might want to add. Lose hand, Chris. I feel like if Chris loses a hand, it won't be in this chapter. Um, uh, I could add one for new party members because of Noel. Um, Ocean PNG return. Uh, that's kind of too basic. I feel like that's kind of too basic. Like that I feel like that's gonna happen anyway. That's kind of a main theme around the game anyway. Um, sad face. Okay, well, I'm sorry, sad clown face. Anyway, um, do you even like my ideas? Oh, what the? Do you like hate me? I I do. Who said that? I mean, I don't. Who said that? Who said that? Wasn't me. Who said that? Who said that? Holy shit. It's crazy. What? Who was it? Huh? Oh, I'm sleepy. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Javel, I don't know what you're on about. I don't know what you, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're on about, dog. What the fuck? What the fuck what? I didn't even do anything. I didn't even do anything. You were excited. You were so excited for Des. What do you mean? I am excited for Des. Did I stop being excited for Des? Bye, Fox. Hold on. I'm gonna reply with the most awesome thing ever. That's right. You're my board now. um, Tails dummy thinks he's the main character, bro. Uh, we'll have to go. It's 7 a.m. now. I have to spend my entire life on this live stream. Hanging out was fun as usual. Bye bye. Oh, damn. Sorry, local, that you stay up like that. I'm so excited for Des. I want Des to come back so desperately. I do too. I hope so that Destiny returns. Ralsei Dim returns. Ralsei Dim is already in Castletown. That's kind of like, or technically it got taken over by the Sprampton one because of the Addisons, but you get what I'm saying. Um, so anyway, I don't really think there's anything to address there. Why are you apologizing? I've done this to myself. I mean, I guess so, but like, I'm sorry that my streams are so late for you, you know? Who's the most glazed alternate boss? Uh, Spam to Neo. Oh, my mom's calling me.
Mine is 4 in the morning. You need to go to bed.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go to sleep then.
Okay.
Well, even my mom is agreeing. I gotta go. So let's hurry up on this bingo board. Who's most glazier? I already said. I already said. Um, what's this guy talking about? All she does is post about herself. Roasting returns. Tana. We can hear you. Yeah, I know, dude. I know. I don't care. I have my OBS open. I could have turned you off. Anyway, um, let's get to these final bingos. Uh, for final bingos, we could what could we do? What could we do? Actually, here's a prediction I have. We're gonna have a rudest buster. We're gonna have a third buster. It seems like we get a new one every 2 chapters, every other chapter. Adios, don't ask about what happened in 1927. I'm still wondering what happened. Buzzwords. Anyway, hopping off. Bye, bye. So I'd say we actually get a new root buster. Mm, what else? What else? I might also change this up, just like depending on the days or whatever when I'm getting ready. I'll probably the refurbished bingo will probably be the like last thing I do, unless I get it done earlier. Um, who's most clear's opponent? I don't know. I don't know. What is some other things that could happen? A new party member. You could, yeah, a new party member, I guess. I'll, we can put 𝐜𝐥𝐚𝐢𝐽 in here, but technically we already know this is gonna happen though because of Noelle. But we don't know if she's gonna be a new party member because she's just kind of like going with us. We don't know if she's technically a new party member. Freddy Fazbear is not gonna be the new party member, dog. Um, okay, we have a couple more slots for bingo. Um, sad face. What are you sad about? Freddy Fazbear was not gonna show up. Um, he was the coolest. I'm sure he was. Mm, dialogue like, who's that? Who's what? Who's that? I don't know what you're talking about. That. I don't know what you're talking about. Address them. Address what? I don't know what you're talking about. There's so many of them. So many of what? Overstimulation. Overstimulation of what? I don't know what you're talking about. Here, wait. Okay. I'm looking this way, but okay, I'm gonna look over there, and there's gonna be nothing. There's literally nothing over there. You're fucking crazy. Must have been wind. I guess so, yeah. Not really anything to address. Anyway, so what else? What else could there be? There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7. There's only 7, 6, 7 slots. 6, 7 slots left. There are other people's bingos I could use as reference. I'll look at one of them. Twisted Sword could happen. Azrael's Return, Shelter Code Progress. I feel like opening the bunker is kind of my idea of Shelter Code Progress, so kindness main focus for the soul. I was thinking more like a purple soul thing, but you know what? You're right. Actually, we're gonna add a new soul mode, as one of the things. One of the new soul modes as a bingo board. Asgore dies. I don't think Asgore will die. Purple soul gonna be Roaring Starts, Caster. Rudy dies, Curdly. White Pen of Hope. I don't think the White Pen of Hope is that thing, but it could be. Um, I see a lot of the Gerson memes of like, the White Pen of Hope was metaphorical. Susie, no. I don't know who Apple Girlington is. I feel like I keep seeing her recently, and I'm scared to look her up. False Pen of Hope, exactly. False false pen of evil. False pen of not freedom. Um, I also can't add stuff for for weed root because I plan to do a whole different thing for weed root. Another X of Spamptons. I don't think they're gonna do that. Mic reveal. Actually, I might add that. I might add that as a mic reveal. New map opened up at Light World, Overworld, like new stuff for the Overworld. Yeah, maybe. Uh, um, more hometown. Yeah, like we see more. Yeah. Toby minigame. I feel like Toby minigame is something already assumed. It's not really a thing for the bingo. Um, I feel like I could add a mic reveal, like mic being revealed could be a thing. Maybe Mike is friend, who knows? Um, um, Noelle joins the party permanently? I don't think so. Soul hijinks, friend is revealed. Um, I wonder if there will be like a chase with the knight. That's something I want, but I don't know if that's something for bingo. We only have 4 more slots left. More Roaring Knight, maybe. Check another bingo. Blue Soul, Weird Root, Extreme Devotion, Still in Papyrus. Play as Noelle in Weird Root. Stands open the curtains. Yeah, like as in opening the game. Rudy's illness gets worse. I saw people put Rudy just straight up dying. Rue's card is in there somehow. He always is. Susie learns Chris works with the knight. 𝐻𝐵L shared an image. Oh, I'm scared. What did 𝐻𝐵L share me? Oh. That's not the knight. That is not the knight. Shared another image. Oh, that is no, no. They're not the knight. That's not the same fucking thing. It's not, it's not the same fucking thing. That's not happening. Mo roaring at that. Also, my mom just messaged me like, "You gotta go to bed now." So, um, Twisted Sword. We're gonna do Twisted Sword. Twisted. Are you watching stream right now? What do you mean? Like on your phone? Yeah, technically. Um, it's just us. Yeah, I know. This is a romantic. Jevil, I'm gonna need you to shut the fuck up, bro. I'm gonna need you to kill yourself right now. Anyway, um, Steam sad. Okay. Uh, uh, we learned that. Oh yeah, we might learn Chris's promise. More Carol. I feel like more Carol is already assumed though, because she's doing this stuff for the festival. Maybe inside the mayor's place. Maybe. Um, Mayor's Hall. Yeah, we might actually get in there this chapter. I know what it's called. Um, Suppressed by Undyne Returns. Hmm. No idea. What's your idea? 𝐜𝐵. Okay. Show about Friends Hop. Singing all the mansion. What next plan is. Someone else opened a dark world. Maybe. I was thinking, because in the newsletter, they're running towards the sun. Like 𝑏𝑟𝑒𝑙𝑖. Yeah, I know. I'm thinking that the sun might be a type of. Like, are we gonna do a fight the sun, like in Hollow Knight? I'm gonna do sun boss. Again, this can be changed later. I just need to. Mom's gonna kill me. I need to go to bed. Light in a dark world. No good. That is true. I just need one more. Um, Soulscris. I guess we can put Song of the Sea. Put Song of the Sea. Sea song. Anime transformation. Wait, what? Anime transformation scene. Um, I'll keep that in my mind. I need to go to bed. They're gonna kill me. I'm gonna die. Okay, gamers. This is it. This is it. Um, I probably won't be able to see the countdown like I would have liked to. Good night, good night. Yeah. Um, but sleep tight, yeah. But yeah, we only have 9 more hours until Deltarune comes out. In fact, I might wake up and Deltarune's gonna already be done. Deltarune's gonna be out. So yeah, I guess there's not much really else to say or address or anything. So night hype. What the fuck? Count regular. Get the fuck out of my stream. He always shows up. He always shows up the second. He always shows up the fucking second the stream's about to end. You know what? I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this shit.